Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Hallelujah. Almighty Yahweh, this day we stand before you to hold you up, to give you all the praise that you well deserve. Almighty Yahweh, we told you for breathing the breath of life into all of us. We told you for waking us up to see another day, to come out to your temple, to come out to want to hear of your wondrous ways, Almighty Yahweh. Yahweh, continue to let your word, let your truth go out before all the world. Continue to reveal more and more the mysteries of your word to your people. Almighty Yahweh, be with your people near and far, those that are in the sanctuaries at this very moment. Have your shalom dwell in all of those sanctuaries, all of those temples that are worshiping your name. Yahweh, have your ruach dwell within our vessels. Fill us up, Almighty Yahweh. Fill us with your ruach so it may be able to guide us, so it may be able to lead us to righteousness. Yahweh, continue to put it in your people's mind to have a prayerful state of mind, even in these last days. Yahweh, strengthen us as your people. Yahweh, look over the men, the women, and the children. Yahweh, look over even the men at this very hour. Yahweh, strengthen the men, make them valiant warriors. Yahweh, look over the women, continue to be with them, continue to show you them their special role. And Yahweh, be with the children, be with them in such a way that you instill that word into them. Instill all of your ways into them. So when they continue to grow and be adults, they may be able to stay in your way all the days of their life and to teach their children also. Yahweh, continue to get rid of any manner of wickedness or evil around your people, around your temples. Yahweh, just let your ahava spread throughout all of Israel. Yahweh, look on Israel, show Israel that they need to have ahava for one another, ahava for their brethren, to be there for each other, to take care of each other, to not to fight or bicker amongst one another, but have that ahava that you had towards us to one another. Yahweh, continue even in these last days to provide us with the things that we may need to survive. Provide us with the things we may need to make it in this world. And Yahweh, don't allow any distractions in this world to draw us off the path. Yahweh, when we recognize those distractions, those things that are of Shaitan, Yahweh, have us to turn our heads away from those things and focus on the goal ahead. Focus on that straight and narrow path to salvation. And Yahweh, whenever Shaitan and his children seek to try to destroy your people, seek to take down everything that you have put up, Yahweh, destroy them. Yahweh, put them to shame. And Yahweh, show them that they will not be victorious. In Yahshua HaMashiach's name we pray. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. House of Israel, you may be seated. Shabbat Shalom, House of Israel, once again. And I say Shabbat Shalom, those that are tuning in on the live stream. Today I would like to read from the book of Psalms. This is Psalms 90. And Psalms 90 says, Yahweh, you have been our dwelling place throughout all generations. Before the mountains were born, or you brought forth the earth and the world, from everlasting to everlasting, you are our Abba. You turn men back to dust, saying, return to dust, O sons of men. For 1,000 years in your sight are like a day that has just gone by, or like a watch in the night. You sweep men away in the sleep of death. They are like new grass of the morning. It says, though in the morning it springs up new, by evening it is dry and withered. We are consumed by your anger and terrified by your indignation. You have set our iniquities before you, our secret sins in the light of your presence. All our days pass away under your wrath. We finish our years with a moan. The length of our days is 70 years, or 80, if we have the strength. Yet their span is but trouble and sorrow, for they quickly pass, and we fly away. Who knows the power of your anger? For your wrath is as great as the fear that is due you. Teach us to number our days aright, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Relent, O Yahweh. How long will it be? Have compassion on your servants. Satisfy us in the morning with your unfailing ahava, that we may sing for joy and be glad all our days. Make us glad for as many days as you have afflicted us, for as many years as we have seen trouble. May your deeds be shown to your servants, your splendor to their children. It says, may the favor of Yahweh, our Abba, rest upon us. Establish the works of our hands for us. Yes, establish the work of our hands. Hallelujah. We have to pray out to Yahweh, cry out to him, and have him to show us the right way to walk, to show us, to teach us his ways. Don't want to learn of the ways of the world. You don't want to learn of the ways of man. We want to learn the ways of Almighty Yahweh. Why? Because his ways is going to lead you to salvation. The ways of man is going to lead you to destruction. So which one sounds better to you, Israel? The way of life or the way of death? Hallelujah. The way of life. So we all must continue to follow in Almighty Yahweh and not be distracted of anything in this world that goes down. Hallelujah. And at this time, I'd like to turn the service over to Zarkane Dawi, Yakihana Senior. We want to receive him by saying the highest form of praise, by saying hallelujah.
Shabbat Shalom, Yisrael. We do truly Torah Almighty Yahweh for the greatness of this day, for the beauty of the Shabbat, for all that Abba Yah has done for us as his people. We do give great and precious thanks unto Almighty Yah for the greatness of the gift of life. I was looking at the beauty of life just earlier in the week and reflecting just on what we say, the breath of life. And I'm always amazed, hallelujah, I told you different, I am always amazed at the nations, how they practice their atheism in a manner where they really seek to defy Yahweh in utmost anger. This is a most compelling act. But what is even more so appalling, but yet I don't want to say exciting in the construct of a thrill to watch it, but it is intriguing to see how many people who say that they know Yahweh have an understanding or an unction or a persuasion that points them in the direction that leans toward those same types of behaviors and mannerisms. And we look at the world and we marvel at the things that the nations have done. And I don't mean in the sense of being great and wondrous things, but things that have been done in the utter defiance of the Almighty. The more we study the Torah of Yahweh, the more we really learn just how much the world really does not know the Creator. I want to say that one real slow, because our process of study and the teaching of Torah, if looked at thoroughly, as Yah commanded that Yisrael do, he says to keep therefore and do them. He said this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations. If we really don't take the book and study the book, then we have no understanding. We have no knowledge in front of the nations, who will be in reality, listen to me, in reality, the nations who are always looking for answers, and they're looking to you for answers, but yet they don't think that you have the answers. I want you to hear that. People are looking to you. Pressure is put on you to produce the answers, to produce the way, to produce and show the culture, but yet they don't think that you have it. They don't think that you know enough, but yet they're counting on you. Don't you hear me in that? And this is one of the key reasons why we fail, because as the scripture have said, we too, as for us, our eyes have watched for a nation that cannot save us. This is how the children of Yisrael perpetually remain in trouble. We do not understand that our spiritual conditions exude forth from us, and they display the depth of our mental capacity, our functional disorders in society. I was reading up on mental health earlier in the weekend. I remembered some notes from an old lesson taught back in the year 2001. I tore my office apart looking for those notes from that lesson. I found them at the last moment, so I couldn't possibly really incorporate that into the message today. But I remembered teaching on mental health, what we diagnose as mental health disorders, from schizophrenia to sociopathy, psychopathy, and all narcissism, and all these different things. These things are spirits. I want you to hear what I'm saying. These things are spirits, and that these spirits, given enough time to infuse themselves within our vessels, they can, at the end, do grave physical damage. I want you to hear what I'm saying now. They can do grave physical damage. Abba Yahweh said to the children of Israel that I will visit the iniquities of the fathers upon the children, and to the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. Now, to hate Abba Yahweh, our Creator, but yet there's not a single one of us walking the face of this earth that can deny the breath of life. Not a single one of us can just say, I don't want my breath, and expel it. You cannot do it. But yet he has granted unto us that breath of life. And yet our mental illness, because of our transgressions, that Abba Yah allowed these spiritual conditions to, in many ways and or instances, permanently mark us as a people. I want you to hear me now. These things permanently mark us, so that we're destined to fill these things out. I want to pull from there, from some public records today. A lot of messengers, they won't do this, but I never apologize for coming up in my father's house. You didn't come up in my father's house not be able to read. And I'll say that even with the public school system, the educational system being as weak and wicked as it is today, you're still sent there to learn, and you're going to have to utilize the value of what little you may be able to pull out of it just to stay functional or current in any society. So you can't say you don't need education. You're going to need something to varying levels and or degrees. You have to utilize it. I was looking at the way in which Yah spoke to the children of Yisrael. I'm going to try to break that point down if I can. I want to show you something that a lot of people don't know. I was talking with a man early in the week, and I asked the man, since you're so wise in your ability to rip apart and tear down the scriptures, I says, break down for me parts of speech, because he was trying to show me a particular verse in the book. And I asked him, well, break down for me the parts of speech that give meaning to that particular verse, because the way that you're reading it, I said, now I'm not looking. I was sitting with him in the vehicle, and I was in the back seat of his vehicle. He was the driver. So we pull up, and we had a few minutes before we start work. So he's going to break the scriptures down to me. So I said, well, the way you're reading that verse, it sends a signal all the way back here to me that you don't understand what you're reading. How can I not understand what I'm reading? I'm looking right at the word. I said, brother, it happens every day. It happens for hundreds and thousands of years where people are reading things and are not understanding what they're reading. The scripture says to the messengers of Yisrael, he tells one messenger in particular to write the vision and make it plain upon tablets, that he that readeth may run. Make the message plain, because when a person reads this, they're going to see this, they're going to understand, they're going to know that Yahweh means business, and for that cause, they're going to take it serious. Now, you want to hear something? Most people handling the scriptures today, they don't take it as serious as they think that they do. I want you to hear me on that. Most people, they don't take this book as serious as they think that they do. You hear me? Now, if you think I'm lying, you test them. Ask them the difference between reading and studying the scripture and practical application of the scripture. That's where you lose most people. Practical application comes in some of the smallest of manners that we forsake on a day-by-day basis. Practical application. You're doing it now. He says, remember the Shabbat to keep it Kodesh. It's more to it than just remembering in your mind, oh, today is Saturday. You know how people do. They don't even say Shabbat. They won't say Sabbath. They don't say anything. They'll say it's Saturday. They won't even say that right. But they think because they remember the day of the week. Come on, you remember Monday. You remember Tuesday. But come on, when it gets down to the practical application of what Abba Yah called for in the book, this is where the rubber meets the road. This is where the children of Israel get in trouble in so many times in life, because they don't understand that Yah placed messengers in the earth to teach the children of Yisrael. You go to an auto dealer and he's going to work on your car. He'll come out with a bill of sale or whatever you call it. He's going to do some work. He'll give you a repair order. He's going to tell you what's wrong, and he's going to give you two prices. He's going to give you the estimate of what it's going to cost to fix it, and he's going to give you the cost of the parts to put on the car. They're going to combine the two with the third aspect of the bill, which is the taxes. And you being as shocked as you are, whatever the case may be, you very seldom say, never mind, I'll go back home and do it myself. Because if that's not your field or your area of expertise, you're going to have to pay that man for his expertise. Does that make sense? We respect the doctor because of his area of expertise and his ability to work on the human body to fix things. Sometimes things are not wrong. He just tells you that a thing is wrong, and he gives you a pill, and you believe that this pill is making you better, only to go to another doctor years later and find out that that pill caused this ailment here. You don't lose confidence in the doctors. Nevertheless, you still submit to the surgery, to the medication, or whatever the case and or the process may be. But we respect that man because he's in a position of influence. We respect the judges, the attorneys. We respect the tax collector. We respect the policeman. We respect the mailman. All the aspects of society which denote power and authority, people respect it until it comes to the priesthood. When it comes to the priesthood and the messengers of Abba Yahweh, I've never seen it in all my life, especially in these days and in this time now, where everybody knows more than the preachers know. This is the most amazing time to be alive. To watch a people who need the word of Yahweh so much, but will reject it simply because they cannot distinguish between the men who have the word of Yahweh and the men who do not. Are you listening, Yisrael? Today you can write this down, those that are taking notes by way of this assembly today, those that are viewing by way of the live stream. We welcome you here today on this Shabbat to the house of Yisrael, the assembly of Yahweh. If you're ever in the Baltimore, Washington corridor, do feel free to stop by. We're here at 6515 Harford Road. That's here in Baltimore, and the zip code here is 21214. You'll have a wonderful time. What you see on the live stream and on the channel is the same thing that you're going to see in person. It's the same thing you would get on a Monday. It's the same exact thing you get on a Thursday, because we're going to try the best we can according to what the book says for practical application. This is where people get in trouble. To be Hebrews, we cannot be a one day a week Hebrew. Let me say that to you. You can't be a practicing Hebrew. You're just a Hebrew one day out of the week now. You got to live this, because this is culture. This is the aspect of life that covers everything that Israel was supposed to do. Today I'm teaching, we're going to talk about having respect for the elders who truly know the way. All right? How about that? We'll talk about now, let's set this in motion right here, right now. You don't even have to respect me. I'm all right with that. Let's be clear. I will not lift a finger against you if you don't respect me. We're going to establish respect for the elders who truly know the way, because I don't care how great we think ourselves to be. I'm going to tell you that without the messengers of Abba Yahweh, we will not know the way. Let me say that one slow. We will not know the way. Okay, how much we read the book. The scripture teaches us plainly that faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of Yahweh. We learned that Yahweh had an established record with the children of Yisrael. I'm going to show you how Yahweh, even without any arrogant pride, I'm going to show you how Yahweh got great renown for himself through the rising up of his messengers. Now that's profound, that somebody can show you how great they are by bestowing honor and authority among their nation, and then among a group of men that he emerged from the nation, that he raised up from the nation to teach the nation to be a Kodesh people unto him. And in the process of all that, he got a great name for himself out of it. Not that he didn't already have a great name, not that he could not do it without Yisrael, but because he loved the nation so much so that there was nothing that he had that he did not share with his people. Yisrael does not know the depth of their relationship with Yahweh. I don't care what most of us say. We don't understand the depth of that relationship to Yahweh. Why do you think we float like we do? Y'all ready for this? Why do you think we're in and out and in and out? I'm not talking about when sickness or calamities or things of that nature happen to block us or prohibit us for this day or that day. I'm talking about a perpetual cycle. I'm here today. I'm here next week. I'm here week after next. Then you ain't gonna see me for 2 more weeks. Then I'm back again. Then no. We don't know consistency. Suppose Yahweh answered prayer like that. We're praying for something and we need it, and he moves immediately. Now we're overjoyed in that. We're praying for something else, we need that, and he moves immediately. Now we're doubly assured in our faith, but then we pray for something that we need again, and the third time, and Yah was slacking on the job. We wouldn't like that. Especially if what we needed in this third instance was now what seems to us to be more important than the first two. Now the bottom of the barrel, as far as our faith is concerned, will be completely relinquished, and we would lose faith in Abba Yahweh. You know what? I am so glad that Yahweh is not like that with us, because he'd have had to drop all of us a long time ago. You hear me? Y'all would have had to drop the children of Yisrael Men, especially us as the messengers of Abba Yahweh, we got to watch ourselves. We got to watch our step. We got to watch everything we do, because you never know who's watching. But even as Deacon said on last evening, you better know for certain that Abba Yahweh is always watching. There's nothing we can do nowhere in the dark, in the depth of our life. There's nothing, nowhere we can do that Yahweh does not see it. There is not a single thought that we can ascertain that Abba Yahweh does not already know about. He knows your very thought. See, our minds can't even fathom things like that. We lose sight of that. You can't even think, wait a minute, how in the world can he know every thought of everybody, everywhere in the world, all at the same time? See, that's your small mind. You can't even manage your own thought. And then you're trying to figure out how he can understand all. Come on, Yah is the creator of all things. He even named himself that great and awesome name. Think on that. Just the greatness of the name that he gave unto himself, whatever it means, it is the most significant meaning in all things, everywhere, at any given time. Think about that. Is that making any sense to you? The world doesn't know. If they knew him, they wouldn't call him God. The world doesn't know. If they knew, they wouldn't call him the Lord. He told Moshe, I am Yahweh. That is my name. Now write that down in a sentence. How difficult could that be to understand? It says, I am Yahweh. That is my name. Just that simple. Well, people read the book and they twist the words around and they swear out that they know. They even think that they're sent to teach you. I had a nickname given to me the other day by the contractors, well, the company that I contract through. They called me the reluctant foreman. I was never in charge of anybody, so I didn't like giving these men orders and different things. And I was watching a man, I worked with a 66-year-old man. He doesn't know much about the trade. He's just out there. His brother-in-law has him working, and I guess he needed a job. And for some reason or another, we have this spirit upon us as a people where we like to bluff. We like to pretend to know. I've come to learn, and I had to learn it the hard way. I'm going to tell you how I had to learn it. I had to learn it the hard way because when you don't know a thing, there's nothing more exhilarating than to learn something. When you can say, I got it, as opposed to, yeah, I got it, and you don't know. See, now that's a lying spirit. It's a mental health problem. It's prevalent among all people. I don't care who you are. You hear me? It's a prevalent thing. I watched a man in the store the other day, an Asian man, arrogant. He needed something. I was standing in the way. I slightly had my back turned, so he reached past me. He wouldn't even say, excuse me. Just reached. So I moved. I stepped to the side and just looked at him. And when I stepped to the side, I just humbly moved. Just let him get whatever he was getting. Then he realized how embarrassing it was. Excuse me. I just nodded. But I just took note of the ill-mannered nature in which the world receives us. And it is an ill-mannered nature. It is a spiritual condition that manifests itself before you and I. And I like the way the world explains this. They will break it down for you and I in physical terms, in the physicalities of a mental disorder. But those of us that understand the Torah of Yahweh, we understand that there is an overarching or overriding spiritual effect that is behind this. I want you to hear me, Yisrael. Because we can ameliorate a lot of the problems that we face in the world if we understand the word of Yahweh and the speech patterns that he uses, as well as having placed us under his covenant and under his tutelage and his direction. We can eliminate all of that. But we have to want it. Let's do this. Let's go to the book of Job, or the book of Job, chapter 32. I'm going to remind us again, we as the messengers of Abba Yahweh, we have to be ever so careful. We got to pay attention to some things. As I was saying earlier, this man, he's 66 years old. He's not in the best of shape, that much I could discern. But he was just, what's the word I want to use? Hell-bent. Yeah, I'll use that word. He was just hell-bent on telling me what to do. He just, I'm older than you. I know. So I'm going to instruct you. Till finally, I got a little tired of it. And finally had to exercise a little authority on the man. I had to reduce the man. I said, well, let me say this to you. I'm not as old as you, but I know I've been doing this trade a lot longer than you. So I know what I'm doing. And I know why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because I've been commanded to do it this way. It has to be done that way. And they sent you here to help me. Now, what's got to happen is I got to do this portion and that portion and this by myself. But in the meantime, I got to send you over there. Because we made junk when we worked on that side. We made trash when we worked on that side. And we made trash when we worked over there. And we're responsible for cleaning up behind ourselves. So you go over there and you clean those 3 spots up. You can take all day if you choose to. Just come back and talk to me when you got it all cleaned up. And I hated to have to exercise power in that manner, but I had to do it to bust down the arrogance of one who does not know, but yet proceeds to bluff, to lie, to proceed to act as if they do know. When in reality, if we don't know, it is better to let it be known that we don't know, that we are able to proceed. Watch this. Y'all all right? Job 32. So these 3 men ceased to answer Job because he was righteous in his own eyes. In other words, Job knew what he had done or what he had not done. Job knew the conditions of how he walked against Yahweh. Not a man lying to himself, pretending to be. Job knew that he had obeyed Yahweh. He had done the best that he could. Okay? So they refused to continue talking with him because everything he said to them sort of busted down their analysis of him. Then was kindled the wrath of Elihu, the son of Barachel, the Buzite, of the kindred of Amram. Now, some translation here says Ram, but anyway. And his wrath was kindled. Against Job was his wrath kindled, because he justified himself rather than Yahweh. Now, these are men looking at this through the eyes of men, and not all understanding every aspect of it. But also against his 3 friends was his wrath kindled, because they had found no answer and yet had condemned Job. You see, that's what the nations do to Yisrael today. The nations always condemn us. They always find a mannerism, a mechanism by which to go up against us. Whether we be right or wrong, the nations will always make themselves right when going up against the children of Yisrael. I want y'all to pay attention to that in the world, because as aggravating of a condition as that might be, our humiliation in that brings us to be, look at the word, humble. You hear me? Humble and humiliation, they have a direct connection. We must understand that. A lot of times people cannot be humble because they're arrogant. But to be humble has a level of humiliation in it. Hamashiach was humiliated for the nation of Israel that he might save them. Okay? The embarrassments of persecution. In fact, that was the lesson that I was looking up for to teach on that. It was persecution's embarrassments. See, a lot of times people don't want to look bad. They don't want to look bad in the eyes of the world, because see, that's sinful pride. And if we delve deep enough into the scripture in that, we'll find where that leads to mental illnesses. We'll start suffering. We'll go through depression, and we'll go through things where, if you watch children in this generation, we can't follow directions. Our children, they can't be wrong. They can't, they don't have patience. Things. This society medicates our babies quickly. You hear me? Let a baby not be able to sit still. Let them just be bad. Let a baby not be able to think or focus. Let them not be able to make eye contact or things. They've got a reason. They recognize and they label everybody. I've read their work so much so you learn that there is, listen to me, for those of you that have children in public schools. As they study your children, there is no code of conduct for normal. If we're going to use that word, okay. There is no code of conduct for normal. Everybody has a personality disorder, a quirk, something in the society. According to them, we're messed up. Are you listening? I'll show you how messed up they are. In 1992, I'm going to show you how far back this goes. In 1992, I worked on a commission. I worked with the commission here in Baltimore. I had written a small booklet on this. It was about the Genetic Violence Initiative. The Genetic Violence Initiative came about because of a statement that was made by a doctor. I forget the man's name. He was the director. Peter Goodwin. Yeah, hallelujah. Peter Goodwin. He worked at the National Institute of Mental Health. And they were studying young black boys. And they were saying that young black boys are genetically prone to violence. As funny as that is, we're genetically prone to violence. We don't rule the world, but we're prone to violence. We ain't built one bomb, but we're prone to violence. I'm going to let that sink in. Now, for my white or Caucasian listeners, don't you get upset. If you serve an Almighty Yahweh, you calm down. Don't you get upset. You're going to learn one thing about Elder Johnson now. Nobody gets a cut card with me. Black, brown, red, yellow, white. Sin is sin. Sin ain't got no class. It ain't got no zip code. It's all over the face of the earth. So everybody going to be condemned according to the book, okay? So now, he made this statement and said that we were like rhesus monkeys. And that all these monkeys wanted to do was have sex, to reproduce, and to violently kill one another. That's what he said. And it caused this enormous nationwide fervor. People were mad. They were angry. They were calling for the man's dismissal. So, in showing the depth of their mental health problems, they dismissed him from the National Institute of Mental Health. And the black community, in their mental illness, they were happy with that. The white community, in their mental illness, they were so happy with it too that they moved him from the National Institute of Mental Health and transferred him over to the National Institute of Health, which was a bigger agency which had power over the other agency that you fired him from. Get that now. See, I tell you, everybody crazy. So I worked on this. I know what I'm talking about because I fought them. I met with some people, Dr. Peter Bregan and his wife and others. I remember meeting with them because we were fighting them because at the time, all my children, they were in public school. I'm like, you ain't labeling my boys without a fight. See, now, if they say everybody's violent, then we're all going to get to fighting in the street. And whoever's left standing, that's the most violent one. That's going to be the winner. So we fought them on these issues because they were running a program where they were medicating children. They want to put your children on Ritalin and Prozac and lithium and a whole bunch of other medications. And the pharmaceutical industries emerged and they grew rich because of this, okay? This still happens in the public schools to this day. That's why they take you little children. Oh, he's got ADHD. He's got this, he's got that. I had ADHD too when I was a little boy. My father had the perfect medication for it. It was this. He spank it out of you. Okay, and can you focus now? Yeah, I got it. I'm standing here today. Anyway, me and my mental illness, let's deal with this. Y'all all right? The men, they didn't want to deal with the issues in which Job was dealing with. I'm going to connect this back with the Peter Bregan thing in a minute. You're going to see something amazing here. So, also against his three friends, because even they found no answer, yet had condemned Job. Now, Elisha had waited till Job had spoken, because, listen, they were older than he. What am I talking about today? Having respect for the elders that truly know the way. I want you to watch this young man's behavioral pattern, okay? Listen now. It says he waited until Job had spoken because they were elder than he. When Elisha saw that there was no answer in the mouth of these three men, then his wrath was kindled. You ever hear a conversation sometimes where you just hear it and it kind of like tick you off a little bit? You say, listen to that. But you just don't say anything. We're going to learn. Listen, Yisrael. Can't say everything you're thinking now. Sometimes you got to hold your mouth. You ain't going to bust if you hold it. Okay, you ain't gonna die if you didn't say it. I'm not talking about if it's the truth and you don't say it. That's a different story. You speak the truth. But every little thing we can't always correct, can't chastise. You're not gonna set every little cause right in this earth, in this lifetime, okay? So Elihu, the son of Barachel, the Buzite, answered and said, I am young and ye are very old. For which cause I was afraid, and durst not show you mine opinion. And I wasn't even gonna give my answer. You all are elder men, you're older than me, and because of that I revere you all, I respect you, so I dare not even say what I'm thinking. I said they should speak, and multitude of years should teach wisdom. That is the truth. The multitude of your years upon the face of the earth should put you in a position of yada, knowing. To know now is based upon not just book knowledge. You can be book savvy all you want and be stupid. Professor Hawking, what's his name? The man in the wheelchair. Hawking. Smart man, no doubt about it, but stupid. He's stupid. You're an atheist. You don't believe in the Most High, but you're crippled. You're stuck in a chair. He can't get himself up. Remember, he's so smart. He can't do it. It's like people say, come on, man. Anyway. He says, I dare not show you my opinion, because days should speak and years should teach wisdom. Multitude of years. This word, yada, to know, is based upon knowing through experience, through the depth of practical application. Okay, as I was saying about the 66-year-old man will tell me how to do certain things and saying it authoritatively, and has never done it before, just bluffing and saying things. I mean, it aggravated me all week. I tolerated it until I couldn't take no more yesterday. I said, no, let me set this straight before it gets too far out of hand. But that's a trait. That's a characteristic I picked up from my father in learning about how to be humble. Because my father said, you ain't going to be able to say everything you're thinking. He says, sometimes you got to hold a thing. He says, you want to learn about a person's character? My father would say character. He didn't say character. You know, some people don't understand speech patterns sometimes. This is what makes us think we're smart sometimes. This nation will say, oh, those tomatoes over there. Somebody will say, oh, hand me 2 tomatoes. So now you're looking at him, you think, he don't even know how to say the word. Sometimes it's just a pronunciation of a thing. And it does not make a person less intelligent than the other, because they say things differently. So my father used to say, you want to know about a man's character? And I would always joke with him, character? He said, yeah, you know what that is. He says, just watch. Sometimes you got to watch a person, see how far they go. To watch to see how far a person go, you know what type of person you're dealing with. See, sometimes you'll chastise or correct the person, and in the process, they'll hide themselves. But what you would really want is a person to be open. You know, if you're a psychopathic person, I'd be psychopathic. I can deal with you better that way. And in fact, I'm going to get to that. I'm going to show you something. In fact, I'm going to show it to you now, just out of safety sake. Look at this. How can 27 people nationwide? See, there's this rule about presidents. They don't like to assess the mental health of most U.S. presidents because they want them to be perceived as men of power. This is the leadership. They want you to obey them, to follow them, okay? So they won't do that. Look. They broke the rule on this man. This man was so bad they had to break the rule. The dangerous case of Donald Trump. 27 psychiatrists and mental health experts assess a president. They created a committee at Yale called the Duty to Warn Committee. In other words, now look, we all know this man crazy. Yeah, it choked me up too. We all know this man's crazy. We have a duty to come out and tell the people, hey, y'all done put a nut in that White House. He ain't all there. He's crazy. He'll blow up something. He'll kill something. He's homicidal. He's all that. This is the worst you ever had. It's our duty to say it. No disrespect now, in case you get mad at us, but it is our duty to say it. I want y'all to understand that's what they did. But I'm going to quote them because I need to pull something out of the book that they said that I say, okay, you're saying that way. The scripture says it this way. And because Almighty Yahweh inspired the messengers to write in a specific way, then I'm saying I'm going with what the messengers of Abba Yahweh said, as opposed to men who sat up and just happened to guess. They got it right, but they will guess it. And they call this stuff knowledge. And what's interesting about knowledge, let's hit on Western civilization, because one of their scholars, you can look this man up, Sophocles. Just look him up. Sophocles is comical, man, because the basis of most modern university language is steeped in something Sophocles said. Man, when I figured that out, I was right out of college. Man, I was out the next week. I'm out. Sophocles said, knowledge does not count. But what counts is the appearance of knowing, bluffing, rhetoric, and to learn the art of persuasion. That's what the man said. And can you imagine that? All the Western civilization hinges upon things that their scholars say. Nietzsche. Remember him? Nietzsche. God is dead. Since that's how they refer to Yahweh as God, God is dead. Well, they had to take Nietzsche's sign down. Yahweh had to put up a sign that said, Nietzsche is dead. Because I will it so. Get the difference? That's the way Yahweh works. He's going to get the last word. So now, all these men are crazy, but the whole world is fighting and clamoring to get into their schools of higher learning, to learn all the nothing that these men know, so that you can come back in debt, begging them for a job so that you can pay them back and struggle just to live in their society. Now tell me we ain't all crazy. Tell me we ain't crazy for going for that. I trust my works in the wisdom of the Torah of Abba Yahweh before them. Come on, man. Come on, man. So the messenger of Yahweh says, the story went this way. I said days should speak, and multitude of years should teach wisdom. But it is the spirit in man, and it is the inspiration of Abba Yahweh that giveth them understanding. Great men are not always wise, neither do the aged understand judgment. You hear that? No matter how great they are, great men are not always wise. Some are great because of the dynamic and the power of their strength. Some are great because of the magnitude of the wealth that they are able to accumulate. Some are great because of the sheer ability to kill and to impose fear and to go forward. But there is a nation that has produced a stream of great men after men after men, generation after generation after generation, and they all got their greatness because Abba Yahweh willed it so. These great men were not without great women beside them. Are you listening? They were not without great women beside them. I was reading in the works of the messenger of Abba Yahweh, and he named all the great men, and he says, among them all, Adam has the preeminence. I want y'all to get that point. Think on that for a minute. Among all the great men that have ever walked the face of this earth, Adam has the preeminence. Yahweh looked at him and said, hey, it's not good that he be alone. Make him a help me. Does she or does she not then share in that preeminence? Are you listening, Yisrael? Because when Abba Yah speaks to the children of Yisrael, his words and his message are so weighty and so deep that sometimes these things will not occur to us and we won't even comprehend them for years to come, because that's how far into the future Yah speaks to Israel concerning the beauty of all that he intended us to benefit from. We don't believe, man. You're not going to convince me we don't believe. We don't believe, and we don't believe because of the way in which we conduct ourselves, not just in the house of Abba Yahweh, but even in the privacy of our own home. Abba Yahweh has the preeminence in all things. Come on, man. So the first Adam, he failed. So the second Adam, whom he sent forth as the living soul, the living spirit, the living flesh, all of the Ruach rolled up within him so that he would never fail. So that David would never lack a man to be sitting upon the throne. We don't even understand that we have a king who is always standing there to make intercession for us. We don't understand that. We don't believe that. So then Hollywood has to go and make stupid movies to play around with it, to draw your understanding closer to them for things that Abba Yah put in the book for us. Let me show you something in the book of Leviticus chapter 8. More often than not, I just watch this generation emerge. I was reading something online the other day, and it brought tears to my eye because I'm well aware of it. If the brother highlighted that particular point, I'm well aware of it, and I knew that the man was right. He was so hurt by the behavior of the children of Yisrael. He was talking about these online sites where people are teaching and all these classes and all these different doctrines. The children of Yisrael, a lot of time, we do well to just shut up, man. I'm telling you that us as the people, we do well a lot of times just be quiet. Because see, you got everybody teaching something. Everybody saying something. Everybody knows something. I never forget we were in an assembly one time. I won't disrespect the personage of the elder there and the congregant, the people. I love them dearly. But there was a young man there. Young man was deeply in need of being taught. He was in deep need of being taught. He's going to pull the scripture out and grab me. Come here, Mr. Elder Johnson. I said, Mr. What? Sit down here. Let's talk about the word a little bit. I said, no, I'll remain standing. So I leaned over on the table. Yeah, talk to me. What you got? See, that's the spirit that we come in. You can open the book and teach me something. I'll tell you the story about how I stomped his face in with the word later. But the point of the matter is the arrogance that we display in thinking that we know something. You watch us and show me the men today that bluff and knowing how to sweep up a sidewalk. Show me those men. You ever notice that? You ever see all the trash in the cities? Young man live right in his mama house, won't even take the trash out. Bluff, brother. Show me you can get the trash can from the back door to the steps so that the trash man get. Bluff and show me that. No, we can't do that. Come on, dear brother. Bluff and show me how you can teach your babies and raise them so that they come up as young men, so that they now won't be victims of the criminal justice system, so that they won't have to spend the next 29 years there. Come on, man. I watched the man who spent 31 years in prison. We stopped and had lunch at a little restaurant, I guess they call it the little Chipotle restaurant. I watched the man, 31 years. Didn't know how to order his food. He didn't understand the thing that takes place. He'd been gone since 1978. So that thing really hurt me, man. As I began to look and to realize that that's just in this lifetime. Imagine how far and how long we as a nation have been gone from Abba Yahweh while pretending that we know. You see, you can't tell us anything, man. See, it's this type of message. Now, you won't get a lot of views on a message like this. See, once they start hearing you talk and you come down on us for our sins and say, we have to do better, don't nobody want to hear that. I'm already right. What's he saying? Click off. That's all right. You can't stop the validity of the word of Yahweh as it goes forth, okay? There must be something to the power of prayer. Anytime the devil's angels had to hold up the prayer of Daniel for 21 days. What was the man asking for that the devils and the angels thereof said, nah, can't let that prayer go through. Tell me of the depth and the reverberation of the words that were uttered out of the man's mouth, that they had to be held up so that they could not reach Hashemayim. Come on now. But Yahweh said, not so. Mikael, go fight them. Come on, if something like that can hold up your prayer, then what do you think it can do as far as holding up your knowledge and understanding of the Torah? Yah says to Yisrael, he called the old men because they know the way. And he called the young men because they're strong. Our young men don't know the way, and they no longer have the strength of Yahshua. We're going to have to say that to them. We don't have that type of strength today. We can't focus from one end of the day to the other. We can't focus from one end of the minute to the other. We cannot focus because we think that we already know. Leviticus 8:1. Listen to this. And Yahweh spoke unto Moshe, saying, take Aaron and his sons with him. Take him. And the garments and the anointing oil. And a bullock for the sin offering. And 2 rams and a basket of unleavened bread. Look at what he took now. And gather thou all the congregation. You hear this? Get the congregation together unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. So get them there to the door. And Moshe did as Yahweh commanded him. And the assembly was gathered together. Y'all hear that? And were gathered together unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And Moshe said unto the congregation, this is the thing which Yahweh commanded to be done. And Moshe brought Aaron and his sons and washed them with the water. And he put upon him the coat and girded him with the girdle and clothed him with the robe. And he put the ephod upon him and he girded him with the curious girdle. This was a precious thing now, okay? The curious girdle of the ephod and bound it unto him therewith. And he put the breastplate upon him. Also he put upon the breastplate Urim and Tumim. I'm going to stop right there. You all might not know what that is. That will take a lesson within and of itself. That's just to let you know that Yahweh put majesty and honor upon the messengers, upon the priesthood. He clothed them with something. He didn't give it to everybody. He brought everybody out as an eyewitness to this, okay? This is why the assemblies of Yahweh are in trouble today now. We got all the young men. They know everything. They won't sit under the elders. They won't talk with the elders today because they come in knowing everything. They know everything. Like I said to the younger man, he's older than me, but I said to him as well, brother, I hear you reading that, but I know based upon hearing your speech patterns, you're not understanding what you're reading. You can't read and run over commas and sentences and not know the difference between colons and semicolons. You hear me now? Some of this stuff we need to know. Till we go to school sometimes, we don't pay attention to this stuff. When I was younger and we were in school, and my Isha, she's sitting here, she can tell you, I've known her since I was 14. She can tell you now, in school, math wasn't my strong point. And I come to realize now I really didn't like math class. It was the teacher herself. She had a personality. She had a way of embarrassing people. And, you know, as young men, pride, we don't like to be embarrassed. I'd be sitting in the back talking or doing whatever. And she taught a problem. And then, David. Yeah? Come up here and work this out. Now, I ain't hear nothing she said. So everybody gonna giggle and bust out laughing now because I gotta go to the board. I don't know nothing. And you know the rule. Once you get there, if you know and you do it wrong, everybody gonna laugh. So that sort of weakened my ability in math. Oh, I can count today. Don't get me, don't hey. I can read a tape measure. I understand the Dewey Decimal System. I understand metrics. Okay, I can count today. So don't get it twisted. Say he can teach, but he can't count. Nah, don't get it twisted. But English, for some reason or another, it was my specialty. They put me in these classes with Maisha and all her girlfriends. A couple of brothers was in there. English 4 with honors. I'm like, what? I mean, it was extra hard. Plus, they honor you because you're wise enough to see through. You can understand Shakespeare. You can conjugate a verb. You can do all. So I'm like, why do I gravitate to? See, Yahweh prepares those that are his before they're even in the womb. So you're going to have to understand stuff like this as you start to look back even at the language of your forefathers. You're going to have to look at Hebrew because, see, they say the Hebrew language had no vowels. It had no this. It had no, these are people that are always running their mouth. You don't even understand the depth of their language, much less now because you have vowels and consonants and syllables. You say these words in the English language. English is the youngest language on the face of the earth. How could English get all those things and be so right, but yet the original language spoken from creation didn't have it and they were so wrong? What are you saying? So we don't think. Western civilization, they have you thinking that everything that is good that has ever been invented was invented by them. No, everything that was already in the earth, you stumbled across it. And you commandeered it. Let's tell the truth about that, okay? So now, Abba Yahweh clothed this man with majesty. All were present when this was done. It was done in the sight of the entire congregation so that everyone would know and would understand how Yahweh was working. Am I making any sense yet? Let's go a little further. Let's go back to Exodus chapter 29 and deal with this again. Abba Yahweh sets a thing in motion for a reason now. See, people today, they don't know the elders who truly know the way. And those who do truly know the way, a lot of times now, they're sort of softened. They're relaxed. It's like parents that have had plenty of children. I've heard older people say this. Now, I'm going to speak on this from older people. Older people have children. With the first 1 or 2, you're making your mistakes and all, you're dealing with them, whatever the case may be. You get to the second and third, what have you, those in the middle, you're starting to get it refined or what have you. But by the time you get to them last ones, you're harder on the last ones. You perfected parenthood. You got the thing together now. The last one, they tend to think you're the hardest on them. You hate them. No, you done perfected the art of parenthood, okay? All your mistakes that you missed in the first 1 or 2 children, you start getting better with it in the second and third. You done mastered it, okay? So now when you start telling the children of Yisrael how Abba Yahweh dealt with Yisrael as a nation, we need to be looking at these things. 29, 1 through 7. Listen to this. And this is the thing that thou shalt do unto them, to hallow them, to minister unto me in the priest's office. Take 1 young bullock and 2 rams without blemish, and unleavened bread, and cakes unleavened, tempered with oil, and wafers unleavened, tempered with oil. Of wheaten flour shalt thou make them. And thou shalt put them into 1 basket, and bring them in the basket with the bullock and the 2 rams. Same thing he told them in Leviticus. And Aaron and his sons thou shalt bring unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and shalt wash them with water. Now they had to be purified. All these things were symbolisms of something even greater to come. And thou shalt take the garment and put upon Aaron the coat and the robe of the ephod, and the ephod and the breastplate, and gird him with the curious girdle of the ephod. Same thing, right? And thou shalt put the mitre upon his head, and shalt put the Kodesh crown upon the mitre. Look at what y'all's telling them to do. Then shalt thou take the anointing oil and pour it upon his head and anoint him. And thou shalt bring his sons and put coats upon them. And thou shalt gird them with girdles, Aaron and his sons, and put the bonnets on them. Now, you know, a group of people stole the bonnets today in their culture, so they wear this now, and nobody understands where it came from. Okay. And put the bonnets on them, and the priest's office shall be theirs. Look at this word. For a perpetual statute. And thou shalt consecrate Aaron and his sons. You see that? This is why I tell some of the assemblies all the time, you all got to stop that woman preaching thing. You really have to check that. There is a reason behind that. He chose the sons, and there is something that's going on in this world. Listen, man. This is a man's world. Even an evil man in the form of a malak or an angel or a messenger, he even had to be kicked out. One messenger down in Texas, he calls the devil a woman. He says it's a woman. A lot of men that are sexist like that, they like that, but yeah, I can believe that. I bet you do. Yeah, anyway. There is a reason why Yah called the men to do something, and there is a reason why he baruched the women to do something else, okay? Because it is through the womb of a woman that all come to the face of the earth. If that's not a level of honor that's put upon her, you're not going to procreate anybody, okay? Two men are not going to bring forth a seed. So it is a valuable position to be in, and it must be understood, and it cannot be played with. And in this same manner, Yisrael must develop a level of respect for the elders who truly know the way. And those elders who do truly know the way, they don't give a damn what you feel. They have to tell you the truth, okay? They have to speak truth to you. They have to lay out the Torah of Abba Yahweh. This ain't about friendship. This ain't about buddies. This ain't about pals. This ain't about homeboys. This is about the salvation of our souls, which a lot of times people will prefer that you compromise that for sake of keeping them happy. You hear me? I watched my father say things to my grandmother because she didn't know the way and she didn't understand. And she thought that things should be softened because she was his mother. Now, he never spoke a word out of turn to disrespect her, but he let her know, I am a messenger of Abba Yahweh, and you got to abide by the same rules that I do. There is no switching of the rules. There is no changing of the guard. We all have the Torah. Make sense? See, this is what people want today. This is why Abba Yahweh gets on the children of Israel about the things that they've done, and he says it in a way where a lot of times we don't even read it in the book properly. We don't understand. I was looking at that as I was explaining earlier, trying to get the young man to see something in the book. When I say young man, he's 59. I'm younger than him. I wasn't gonna let him win this argument. I don't care how old you are. Your point was off base. I wasn't gonna let you win. In reading something in the verse, he was trying to make it just mean what he wanted it to mean, but I was like, no. I'm not looking at it, but I know what it says. Now, you're deliberately skipping those colons. You're acting as if they are not stop signs. You're acting as if they don't have a job. You're skipping over those semicolons. You're acting as if they don't do something. See, the semicolon, it does something. It connects one sentence to another sentence to substantiate the initial point that the sentence was making. Okay? The colon, it does something as well. Because, see, the colon is there because it tends to give an answer to something that was not necessarily posed as a question, but it gives the reason. And Yahweh said this, that, and the other. But they did this, that, and the other. Because he gives the answer why they did it. He did this. I'm going to show you that. Because, see, unless we understand something, you'll start seeing why Yisrael did not honor the faces of the elders. And by not even reading that properly in the book, in Hebrew or in English, we miss those points. Let me tell y'all something. I don't care how much education we have. It takes the ruach of Almighty Yahweh. It takes the power, if we're going to use this word, the spirit of Yahweh, to understand the depth of what Yahweh wanted us to know. Because he didn't give this to everybody. He didn't give it to the whole world. If he gave it to the whole world, the world prints up the Torah. They print Bibles in every language on the face of the earth. Why isn't life getting any better? See, we're not thinking. He didn't give it to everybody. The relationship that Yahweh established himself with in the children of Israel is such a beautiful relationship that it became so personal. He didn't even let the whole world in on it. Are you listening? That's serious. You have a relationship with the Almighty that's so powerful, everybody ain't in on it. I don't care what people say about their God, this, that, and that. Let's read the book, and let's read the book in the proper context, and let's see if everybody's in on this. He didn't even call everybody. Speak clear. He made space. He said that he would not have any to be destroyed, but he didn't call everybody. The book even says that many are called, but few are chosen. You get that? Come on, man. We lose sight of things like that. One more time. Let's go to Exodus 19. I want to drive a particular point home here. Because, see, this is where the children of Israel get in trouble to this day, man. There's nothing more aggravating than to see people stumbling and struggling, reading the scripture, thinking that they got it backwards. Oh, man, you can't do that. get the thing backward and think that they got it right. Let's see if I got this. Exodus 19:7. What does it say here? And Moshe came and called for the elders of the people. Listen to what he did now. And laid before their faces all these words which Yahweh commanded him. Whoa, he got the old men together, didn't he? Everything Yahweh said, he went and got the elders, right? And all the people answered together and said, all that Yahweh have spoken, we will do. Those that have wrote notes, put an asterisk beside this verse, because we're going to come back. I'm going to show you in the book where Yahweh started speaking to Yisrael and said, nah, I rebuked them. I busted down Jerusalem. I destroyed their prophets. I destroyed the priests because they would not obey me. They went back on their word to me. So you mark this verse because you're going to have to come back and do a comparative analysis, okay? I got time, so I'll get to it. And the people answered and said, all that Yahweh have spoken, we will do. And Moshe returned the words unto the people of Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, lo, in other words, it said, look, here, this is where we're going to do it. I come unto thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee, and believe thee forever. Now notice, this is the part where people try to just disregard it now. Yahweh established the order of the priesthood through Moshe and gave him instructions to get Aaron and his sons. He says, I'm going to come down and speak to you in the cloud, and the people are going to hear this, that they might believe you. Look at what it says, forever, huh? So now, you got to be a great man where people are going to tell your story long after you're dead and gone and authenticate it. Are you all listening to this? Come on. You wonder why the nations won't say, excuse me, when they're in your presence? Let me go back over this again. So he said that they may hear when I speak with thee and believe thee forever. And Moshe told the words of the people unto Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, go unto the people and sanctify them today and tomorrow. Look what he said to you. Go to them now, set them apart today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes. This is beautiful now. The Most High is coming to you. You are out in the wilderness. You are no longer in a city now. You're traveling to the land that you're going to inhabit. But first things first, you all go clean up yourselves. You ain't going to wander in the wilderness. You're not going to be outside a couple of days straight now. And can I say this word? You ain't going to be outside and sweat and travel and walk and not get funky. Bottom line, okay? So before Yah comes and speak to the children of Israel in a state of presence and that filth, he says, give them 3 days to clean up themselves. This is the Almighty coming. He is a great king. He doesn't dwell in filth. You hear me? Notice how he put all the beautiful garments on Aaron. He said, beautify the man. He put them bells on him, even on his robe, so that when he walked, he might make music. Come on now. This is beautiful. But the young men today, they don't honor the house of Yahweh today. They own the street corners. They're everywhere. They won't listen to anyone, but they know everything. So he says, and be ready against the 3rd day. For the 3rd day will Yahweh come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. Look at that. In the 3rd day, I am coming down. What nation today can say the Almighty came down in front of them? I ain't heard Iraq say it yet. I ain't heard Russia say it yet. Oh, lying America better not try to say it. Come on, y'all. What nation did the Almighty come down before them and personally address them? But all the nations of the world know this is true. And he raised up great men whose names are forever being uttered throughout the face of this earth because they were the ones that he called. Come on, man. He said that I will get me a great name. He took down the greatest king upon the face of the earth at that time that he might be known. It was Yahweh who destroyed Pharaoh. We missed the point of the book, man. We put all our trust in them, and we don't pay attention to the beauty of what Yahweh has done for us as a people, okay? We don't pay attention. And you shall set bounds unto the people round about, saying, take heed to yourself. Now, in other words, you want to pay attention to yourself, that you go not up into the mount or touch the border of it. Whosoever touches the mount shall be surely put to death. That's serious. The Most High is just that holy. He said, you go down there and tell them that. You set some boundaries. In the state that we are all in, from me to you, from you to him, to her, to them, all of us. In the state that we're in, we are as filthy rags before Abba Yahweh. We are not Kodesh like that. That's people make you sick with them stank attitudes where they They're so Kodesh. They're so, come on now. It's the way people do. I'm not for that. I'm not going to respect no man or no woman above anyone else. We all have sinned and come short of the kabod of Yahweh. Come short of that glory. And don't nobody want to talk about that because everybody's right in their own eyes. Everybody's right. Okay, what goes down? Everybody's right. And people will spend all their days. People will do this. They will spend every amount of energy to prove the messengers of Yahweh wrong. They'll do it. We went to lunch. The old man, 66 years old. We were down in Annapolis. Walked past a jewelry store. They had several nice looking watches on display. I stopped and looked at the watch. He says to me, "You can't afford that. Get on away from that window." I said, "Yeah, I guess we both better get this step in because I know you can't afford it." She says, "How you know?" I said, "Well, let me ask you first." He said, "Well, that's a $600 watch." I said, "Well, if that's a $600 watch, I'll buy it for you right now." So now he's bent on proving me wrong. So he goes running in the store. I didn't have to go in the store. I'm nosy. They put the watch in the window in the display, but the price tag was sitting in the way where you could see it. I had already peeped at it when I was standing there looking at it. $9,650. He said it was a $600 watch. And I said what I said. If it's a $600 watch, I'll buy it for you now. So he was determined he gonna prove me wrong. And if I was wrong, guess what? I'd give him the watch. Just to keep your word. So he goes in and he asks the little woman about the watch. Now the woman looks him up and down. We not, construction workers, we look dusty there. But the woman looks him up and down, okay? I'm thinking to myself, look at that. So I'm standing outside. I ain't the best lip reader, but I'm watching the little woman's eyes as she walks over to the display case and she pulls it out. I'm standing outside looking. I said, I'm going to watch two things. I'm going to watch her lips and I'm going to watch his facial expression. I watched her lips as she read it and spun the tag around so he could see it. And then you can see his little facial expression when he goes. But by the time he comes out the store, I was up the street. Why stand there and wait? I didn't need to gloat. I didn't need to stand there and go, I told you so. It wasn't even about that. It was just the fact that you went in to prove me wrong and you ended up getting proved wrong. But now he couldn't admit, hey man, I was wrong. Couldn't say it. Couldn't admit it. And you know me, I couldn't let it go either. So I held that for the rest of the day. 3:30, we coming on up the road. The driver, he flying. So I look over, by the way, hey, by the way, how much was that watch? He said, you don't want to know. I said, I already know. I just want to see if you're going to tell me the truth or if you're going to lie to me. He said, it was above your pocket. I said, yeah, but it was above yours too. I'm going to ask you again, how much was the watch? But his pride just wouldn't even let him tell me how much it was. So I left it alone. If he don't think I know, then I don't know. But when it comes to the Torah of Abba Yahweh, I don't let men get away with that. If I know that I'm right, I'm going to stand my ground on my point. You know why? Because we as the children of Yisrael, we are described in the book as the pillar and ground of truth. If a building sets on the pillar and it sets on the ground, then it ain't going nowhere. Am I correct? So then when we stand firm for the Torah and we are described as the pillar and ground of truth, guess what? I don't care how often they walk past us or whatever the case may be, they cannot ignore the very presence of Yisrael as the pillar and ground of truth. So come on, Yisrael. This is why Abba Yahweh talked to the children of Israel the way that he did. Let's go back. Let's look at this now. He says to Moshe, set boundaries and teach them. So he went back and he told them all the things. What happened? Okay. If we look at verse 4, he says, you have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings and brought you unto myself. Isn't that what it's saying? Okay, now as a result, now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure. What happens if we stop obeying? You cannot possibly be that peculiar treasure unto Abba Yahweh. So he says, if you will obey my voice indeed, and if you will truly do this, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people. for all the earth is mine. How do people who don't know Yahweh declare themselves superior to all people because of bombs, guns, bullets, military might, and all the acumen that goes with these global societies today? How can you be superior to all people when Yah gives the definitive of superiority here in the word? Am I making sense, Yisrael? Look at it. Now, let's pay attention to sentence structure here, okay? What's the word they use? Syntax, right? How a sentence is put together tells something. Now, let's see if I'm looking at this straight. What did I say a colon does? It gives the reason for the statement that was made. Let me see if I can get this statement together. If you will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people. Colon. What's the reason? If you obey, you'll be above all people. Colon. Reason? For all the earth is mine. So then Yahweh declared this. This is why you got to get on the children of Israel. Listen to the elders that truly know the way. Search for them. Pray that Abba Yahweh raise them up. Because they cannot afford to soft speak you because you don't want to hear this or you don't want to hear that. Come on, man. I come up in this as a young man too. I was a hard-headed thing too. But I'm going to tell you about being hard-headed. Yahweh will bust you down, man. He'll make you flatter than the foot of a duck. Don't play with him. He will bust you down. He will embarrass you. He will draw you out. And if you're his, then you can repent. But if you're not, you'll keep on being hardened in that sin, okay? So Yahweh established, he said, for all the earth is mine. He's the one declaring the supremacy here. But look at this next verse. And you shall be unto me a kingdom of priests, comma, and a Kodesh nation. Notice how he said, all the priesthood will come out of your kingdom. And you as a nation, you'll be a holy nation. Look at what he said, a holy nation. You wonder why you get beaten, shot down in the street. You won't even do right. But the Kodesh affairs of Abba Yahweh still rest upon you in a way where you don't even know what's on you. It's like somebody afraid of spiders. And yet there's one sitting on your shoulder. Then you look around and see it there. Now you get into panic mode because you don't like them. You done knocked them off, but the chill and the effect of it is still there, right? That's how we treat righteousness as a people. Now tell me we don't do that. Talk scripture to family members and friends and see if they don't. They can't take it. They can't walk in it. And those of us that are Abba Yahweh's, we say, well, you know what? I got to press on whether you like it or not. We have to take our time and just learn. See, don't fight with everybody. Don't beat up everybody because some people are slow learners. Let's say slow mental learners. That's all right. Some of us are slow learners, okay? Yahshua rebuked the apostles for that. You see, when he rebuked them, he said, are you yet without understanding? Go back in the book and read that and see if you can say that like Michael Jackson. He rebuked the apostles who couldn't rebuke the spirit in a child. He taught them different things and they did not catch it and understood. He says, are you yet without? Say that like Michael Jackson. I dare you. It ain't even going to make no sense. Are you yet without understanding? It wouldn't even sound right. But now you teaching somebody something. In the power of the Ruach, in the dynamic nature of his mighty presence upon you. People sincerely trying to learn it, but they're not picking it up. You mean to tell me you wouldn't rebuke them in that tone? Are you yet without understanding? That don't mean you hate them. You now snap them out to a state of affair because chances are what they were thinking was the right answer anyway. Most people, that's how most people destroy themselves. The right answer comes to them anyway. They go looking for another one. That can't possibly be it. It's got to be this here. So then they look at you puzzled. How many times have you went to do something, you know it was the right thing to do, you go do something else, and then the second thing you do, you say, I knew I should have followed my first instinct. Well, then go back to the beginning of the book. Yahweh spoke to Adam first. Did he not give instruction? And when they got in trouble, what were they saying in the book of Adam and Eve? I knew we should have followed the first mind. Because the second one was Shaitan. Yahweh always speaks for. Why do you think when you first come to Abba Yahweh, when you first hear the word of Yah, you have a joy? And he tell you don't forsake your first love. Think about that. You hear it. You feel it. You know, this is it. Somebody lying to you now. First thing you do, you twist their mouth. You don't rejoice. Ah, he's lying to me. Yes. That's not the way you respond. You catch it, you look. Come on, man. So I'm going to tell you something that we do as a people. The life experiences that we go through and the behavioral patterns and the process of everything that we do, we wipe that out when we read it in the book. We wipe it out. We wipe it away. We just be reading the words. Let me find something. Random flip to the book. Watch it. Okay, just random flip. Corinthians. Now I beseech you, brethren, by the name of our Savior, Yahshua HaMashiach, that you all speak the same thing, that there be no divisions among you, but that you be perfectly joined together in the same mind and in the same judgment. Now that's how we read a lot of times. You don't understand nothing you just said. But then when you read with the level of expression with which you talk, suddenly now you're understanding. Reading is just talking written down. Why don't people understand that? It's just talking written down, right? Come on. I watched my grandson the other day. His mother told him, don't touch the stove. It's hot. He goes over there. He felt a little bit of the heat. He says, it's hot. I was like, yeah, check you out. He could repeat it. He could relate what she said to what he experienced. She said, don't go over there and touch it. It's hot. He went over there just enough to feel the heat. And it dawned on him. That's what she meant. It's hot. And I had just come in and shut the door behind me. And I bust out laughing. I said, talk about learning. And he walked up on me and looked. And he looked up at me as if to say, ain't nobody asked you nothing. You know, children get that little embarrassed look. That's how he looked. He just walked up on me and greeted me. But he looked as if to say, ain't nobody asked you for your commentary. And he went on off to play. We got to learn how to hear the commands of Abba Yahweh. We got to learn how to follow what y'all commands that we do. Listen to me, Israel. If I can't plead with you or nothing else, I'm begging you. Listen to me. Let's always strive to learn how to obey Yahweh. Because truth be told, you ain't really living till you start doing it. You hear me? Tell me how many times you've come home at the end of the day, dog tired. I hate to use that expression, but you're tired. And you sit down for a moment and just reflect on something so beautiful in the word of Yah that it now completes your day. You can say, yeah, that's right. Great peace have they that love thy Lord. Nothing shall offend them. Suddenly all you went through from morning to when you come back in that door, suddenly all that now means nothing. Because that moment of self-actualization, when you realize that particular scripture or that thought that comes to your mind, ease all your problems, now you're starting to enjoy life. You hear me? People think life's enjoyment is the 50,000 square foot mansion. They think it's the stretch limousine. They think it's the gold, the silver, and everything else. But yet they ain't happy. They still got to pursue all that stuff every day. But yet the scripture says, the little that the righteous have is better than great riches and no quietness. Come on, man. We don't choose Yahweh. We choose the way of the world. So now he tells them, you should be a nation, a kingdom of priests, and a Kodesh nation. These are the words which you shall speak unto the children of Yisrael. Is that not what it says? He said, that's what you go tell them. Verse 7 said, and he came and laid before their eyes, their faces, all these words which Yahweh commanded him. So what can they say? He laid it out before. We still try to this day to act like, I just don't get it. You don't get it because you don't want it. To get this, you have to want it, right? You see them shoes in the window, you want them. You know, how much are they? You go in there and they tell you how much they want. Now, let me see if I can walk y'all through the behavior pattern. You see them, you like them, you want them. So now you run in the store. How much are they? You're kind of happy. They tell you the price, and for a moment you're like, because now it's above your range. But you still want them. So now you make preparations to get them. We have that kind of luxury in this lifetime right now. But why don't we feel that way about the salvation of our soul? Why don't we get enthused about that and say, I want that. I'm willing to sacrifice all I have for that. Come on, man. We don't think anymore as a people. We just follow suit of all that it is. Do me this favor. Let's go to the book of Amos. Go to Amos chapter 3. I'm going to show you something. See, within the days of the prophets, people fail to take into account that Yahweh revealed himself far more fully as a personal reminder of the personal intimacy of their relationship. Did you hear what I just said? Don't ask me to repeat it. I mean, I can, but did you hear what I just said? Yahweh reminded Yisrael. He revealed himself so personally that it was a reminder of the personal relationship, the intimacy that they had as a nation with him. Listen to this now. This is Amos 3. I'm going to start at the first verse. Hear this word of Yahweh, that he has spoken against you, O children of Yisrael, against the whole family. Look, this all a family reunion. We all out there. We happy, right? Hear this word that Yahweh has spoken against you, against the whole family, which I brought up from the land of Mitzrayim, saying, you only, this is personal now, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Stop. A lot of families in the earth, ain't it? But Abraham's seed, Isaac's seed, Jacob's seed, the 12 sons of Yisrael. He says, you only of all the families of the earth have I known. Look at that. You wondering why they don't say excuse me to you? You wondering why they're willing to beat you to death? You wonder why they're willing to keep you in substandard housing? You wonder why they're willing to make you the last hired, the first fired? You wonder why all these social conditions upon you? Well, let me give you a news flash. They ain't even in control of why. They just have to carry it out. But even if they turn unto Abba Yahweh, his mercy extends unto them. Unlike the God of the Ku Klux Klan. You ain't never heard the God of the Ku Klux Klan apologize for nothing. Hey, man. Look, man. Sorry about that cross on the lawn last week. You know, them boys, they new to this. They zealous. They didn't know, man. You know, I'm sorry, man. But come on, meet us down at church Sunday morning. We're gonna have a little barbecue. No, I'm sorry. We're gonna cook inside. We're gonna make him. You ever heard him say that? You ain't never heard him, huh? And you never will. But Abba Yahweh says, for my house should be called the house of prayer for all people. And the rules that apply to Israel apply to all nations. The people don't want to hear that. They want to come and bring their own dirty damn rules. Yahweh ain't going to accept your rules. He ain't going to accept your supremacy because he established the terms of the supremacy of anyone that turns unto him. He has established that. So he says, you only of all the families of the earth have I known. Therefore, look what it says. Wait a minute, back up. There's a colon there, right? Behind earth. Let's get the pattern of speech together. You only have I known of all the families of the earth. What did I say colon does? It tends to tell the reason why. Right? Let me see if I got this straight. He says, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, what does the word therefore mean? For this cause, there's your reason. I will punish you for all your iniquities. We wondering why we suffer. Black lives matter. Well, if they matter, keep the Torah. Am I getting too close to home now? Am I hurting some toes now? Come on now. We need to look at what we're looking at now. People ask me that. Woman asked me that. News reporter. What do you think of Black Lives Matter? I was like, ooh, did you pick the wrong person to ask that question? So I said, what do you mean? The literal statement or the movement? She said, I didn't know there was a difference. I said, there's a difference. The statement is true. The movement was created by homosexuals and lesbians to bring them into the forefront of covering civil rights. She said, huh? I said, huh? And the cameraman, he knew right on cue. Cut the camera off. That's the first move they do. Cut it off. Click. Yeah, you don't see that. Once they cut it down, they let you know. Click. We messed up this time. We got a wise one here. No. Go over there and get that one. He's an idiot. How do you know? Look at him. His pants are hanging down. His butt cheeks are showing. Get him. Ask him. They go right over there. Excuse me, sir. How do you feel? And immediately now he get wide. Well, what had happened was. Now tell me that ain't what they do. Well, I seen that. Come on, that's what they do. So they get somebody that can talk, showing up. You are not newsworthy. It's like a message like this. This ain't newsworthy, man. That ain't what they're trying to hear, man. The message like this, they're not trying to hear that. So he says, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. But he asked the question, can two walk together except they be agreed? Can a husband and wife walk together if they don't agree? How then can a nation and its maker walk together except they agree? Are you listening? Yes, right here. Come on, man. This is why Abba Yahweh told Yisrael, husbands, love your wives and be not bitter against them. He warned us now because the Messiah gave his life for the congregation. He carried her as a wife. You stop loving your wife, you stop loving her Mashiach. I want that main point said. We don't understand that. We are the bride. And suppose the bridegroom stop loving us. Oh, yes, right here. Come on now. This one's rough. Suppose Abba Yahweh command that Yeshua put us away. Come on now. We don't think, man. We don't reflect on the beauty of the... Tell me this. Come on, tell me this. What is the symbolism between Buddha and his nation? What's the symbolism that he uses? You all don't know none. You either ain't studied it that deep or it just don't exist. What is the symbolism? What is the relationship that Allah shows between himself and the Muslim community? What is the relationship? You all either don't know one or they don't exist. Come on. What are all the religions of the world? Hey, here's a good one. The atheists. They don't believe in a creator. Everything just happened. Out of a big bang. Boom, pow, crash. Everybody on earth at the same time. The heartbeat popped up in me, but now you don't have a heart. Your foot pump your blood. This one over here, his foot don't pump his blood because his brain pumped the blood. We all breathing different, but yet it all happened because of a Big Bang Theory. Billions of people have been on the face of Earth, 7-some billion on there now, but yet we all got the same basic structure. You got a heart, you got the lungs, you got the capillaries, you got the arteries, you got all this stuff that make the body function, but it all happened by accident. Sounds stupid, don't it? And then you go out and buy a $100,000 car. Here come a man down the street with a $2,000 car. Y'all make the wrong turn. You collide at the corner. That's a big bang. Now does a miniature universe come together out of that and start happening all over again? You get the difference? You see how stupid it sounds? And I'm making it sound stupid because I want you to understand how stupid this stuff is that we follow these people. Oh, the Big Bang Theory. And they will sit there and expound on this. This is where a lying spirit comes in, because now they will make it sound so reasonable that if you're stupid and sit there long enough, that spirit will take over you. You'll sit there, yeah, I never thought of that. Because until you submitted to that, you were not that stupid. Y'all listening? As soon as you go along with it, that spirit take you. Hey, let's let them explain it. Can I do that? Let's let them explain the power of their stupidity by way of an evil spirit. This is wow, man. You ever go out? I go to stores and sometimes I'm looking for different material. Some of the international news and magazines and things that I read, these people are not prophets. So they're not prophesying and then jumping out fulfilling prophecy. They have the help of Shaitan in the supernatural realm that's guiding them. He knows that he has a short time. Yahweh's word has told all of it from beginning to end, so that specific things unfold or unveil themselves at the times appointed, whether man intends for it to happen or not. So they have no control over prophecy. So I'm looking, I go and read a lot of these international magazines. You don't just get subscriptions for them. You got to know where they are. You got to know what it is. You got to go get it when you get it. And sometimes I go out and certain books be on the shelves where the book just jump out at you in a way where it says, hey, look at me. So then when you look at it, you say, yeah, I think I need you. So they're assessing this man. Now, we're not going to use the book for sake of Donald Trump, because truth be told, Trump is not worthy of being mentioned in any of our sermons in the assemblies of Yahweh, okay? He ain't mentioned that. And if he get mentioned, it's just in passing, okay? He's like a stop sign. You see it, you stop, and you keep on moving, right? Yeah, anyway. I want y'all to hear this as they break down the spiritual aspects of mental illness. This is good stuff in the context of what they're saying. Without being concerned about the formal diagnostic label, it's useful to consider the traits of antisocial personality disorder. Did y'all hear that? It is useful to consider the traits of antisocial personality disorder as defined in the current Diagnostic Statistical Manual. This is the manual. This is the quintessential definition for mental health. Oh, he crazy? Yeah, you can find it on page 89. Or, in other words, this is the go-to manual. A pervasive pattern of disregard for and violation of the rights of others. Oh, wow. Sound like America to me? Anyway. Failure to conform to social norms with respect to lawful behavior. Now, what could that possibly mean? Deceitfulness. What's that? As indicated by repeated lying or conning others for personal profit or pleasure. Well, let me see. Don't that happen when you buy a house? Y'all looking at me like it ain't happened to you. Don't that happen when you buy a car? Don't that happen when you buy anything from these people? Come on, y'all. Tell yourselves the truth. Don't try to make it be the promised land. It ain't, okay? Impulsivity or failure to plan ahead. Okay. They say that those are signs of mental illness. Oh, okay. Irritability and aggressiveness as indicated by repeated physical fights or assaults. Okay. Reckless disregard for the safety of self and others. Now, let's just be honest for a moment. If that definition is what we're going to use and apply, okay, then they show us mental illness on the news every night. Different things happening in all the community. They just happen to highlight one community above all the other communities, okay? White people kill white people because white people are near white people. Don't come to me with that. Oh, there's no white on white crime. Really? What was Hinckley? What was John Wilkes Booth? What's the other one? Lee Harvey Oswald. Come on, don't talk to me about there is no white on white crime. Billy will kill mama because mama did not cook his bacon and eggs the way that he wants them cooked. Mommy, I'm gonna kill mommy tonight. And he'll go in his room and play some rock music and some other stuff and get pumped up, and before 9 o'clock, mommy is dead. Now, when it make the news, if it make the news, it don't come out like that. He's not an animal. He's not a thug. He wasn't depraved. He wasn't a single parent mama's child. None of that. He was a poor child that needed some help. I want to highlight something here. Consistent irresponsibility, as indicated by repeated failure to sustain consistent work behavior or honor financial obligation. Didn't they say the man had them small companies manufacture stuff for him and he wouldn't pay him or didn't honor the debt? Oh, okay, just checking. Lack of remorse. That sounds like some people we know. As indicated by being indifferent to or irrationalizing having hurt, mistreated, stolen from another. Reparations? What? Ripper who? You got a job, ain't you? You know how they tell the story. Evidence or conduct disorder. Impulsive, aggressive, callous, deceitful behavior that is persistent and difficult to deter with threats or punishment with onset before the age of 15. Now I want y'all to understand something that they use. If you ever read this stuff and they use the term and say that you have primitive behavior, they're not talking caveman primitive. They use words in a way where you have to research and define what they mean. Primitive means something happened to you in your childhood that sets you in a phase where you have this psychopathic personality, this antisocial disorder, this narcissism. So when they describe the man as primitive, I was like, first reading, I was okay, well, yeah, he is kind of barbaric. He's kind of Nordic or whatever you want to call it. It's not the definition. Primitive meaning this thing is rooted deeply within you. Okay, well, if a spirit can grab hold of a person from childhood and remain, remember when they brought the child to Yahshua to cast the devil out? What was the question he asked the parents? Nobody remembers the question? He asked them, how long has he been this way? Are you all listening to him? Think about it. He asked them, how long? And they said how long he was like that. They said this came upon him from whence he was a child. It said for oftentimes he would fall down. He would throw himself in the fire. See, you got to recognize spiritual conditions. See, we look at things from this society, and this society tries to take us in a direction where they medicate everything and they materialize everything. Some things are spiritual and it ain't medical. You can't put no medical. You ain't going to give no pill to no demon. All right? You're not going to medicate an evil spirit. Why do you think when spirits hit the elderly, Alzheimer's and things like that, hit the elderly who are growing old and frail, they have superhuman strength. Sometimes take 3, 4 orderlies to hold them down. Now, I'm not saying the people themselves are mentally ill or spiritually. I'm saying that a spiritual condition of which they themselves no longer have control over now is riding the factor of humanity. We better be looking at this stuff careful. Say, well, what does all this have to do with having respect for the elders who truly know the way? Well, I question the mental health of young men, Israelites today, who want to run and teach, but lack the quality and the characterization and the definition of the righteous men in Yisrael that Yah shaped and molded to be the nation. I question that. I challenge men who come into the assemblies of Yahweh and immediately want to preach and teach, but on a social level. Hear me now. You never see them go and start one single organization that will better their block. One city block. Say, hey, man, come here for a minute, man. Hey, pull a Smokey from Fridays. You remember when he talked the man into doing something? He said, look, it's Friday, you ain't got no job, and you ain't got nothing else to do. Remember that? Now, young men, they don't pull one another together. Come here, man, get so-and-so and so-and-so. Come here, man, look. It's Monday morning, you ain't got no job, I ain't got no job, and you ain't got nothing else to do. We're going to clean up. We're going to get the trash up around Miss Little door. Or we're going to get them liquor bottles we had last week from over there by Mr. Joe's house. Now, I want you to understand, because they have children, they have babies that play in the neighborhoods as well. You can't even start off in one city block and demonstrate positivity in manhood. But you want to stand and preach and teach and tell people how to shape and order their lives when the steps for beginning to order your life starts at your own front door. Am I making any sense just right here? See, listen, don't get mad at me. We don't want to tell the truth of when we do things wrong. When we fail, when we screw up, we don't like to chastise and correct ourselves. We want to sweep it under the rug. But if you sweep so much under the rug, after a while, you don't get nothing but a big lump in the floor. You hear me? Because every time you go to clean up, you just sweep it under the rug. It's still dirt. And it get bigger and bigger. After a while, you get a big old mountain and limb. You wonder, what in the world is that there? That's all your dirt you done swept under the rug. See, we will not address our sickness as a people. Can I? Lost books. Let's go to the book of Sirach. Your books, if you have the book of Ecclesiasticus, I'll go there. Properly called the Wisdom of Sirach, or we don't look at these things. I want you to hear this. Now, this is beautiful. This is the way this man articulated something. We can't be a proud nation. You're paying attention to this nation. Now, young man stood up and said, look, I can't honor a nation and its flag that's just allowing its police department to just shoot down and murder innocent, unarmed people. He says, I can't in good conscience do that. How these people switched the narrative and made it an argument about the flag and an argument about the military and all this other stuff. That was not what it was about. It was about life. It was about respect for the general sanctity of life. And for the people to switch the narrative and take it the way that they've taken it, all they're saying is, listen to what they're saying to you silently. They're saying, what are you fussing about, boy? It's all right to kill them people. Now don't you keep on sitting down when we're playing our national anthem, or we'll fire you. So then the coach just said, well, we pay you football players. You signed a contract with us. Now, technically, we own you. You are our property. Anybody don't stand up, you get fired. Now, think about that. So then all the property say, well, I better stand up. If you such free men, say, hey, he's right. I stand with him. You ever notice why a lot of the Israelites will not stand together with elders that really strive to teach the truth? People, they don't like them. I got to get into this. The clock ticking on me, but I got to get in. Because I'm going to show you where we said these things. We said, nah, I ain't going there no more. I ain't going to deal with that. I ain't going to do this. Yahweh recorded it all. And when Yahweh rehearsed it back, fellas, all the men, It's like getting in an argument with your wife. And you already dead wrong. But she got the drop on. Because she got the facts. So now she bring up fact number 1. And you're like, oh man, all right. Yeah, you got me. She bring up fact number 2. And you be like, all right, yeah, you got me. Yeah. She bring up fact number 3, number 4, number 5. Now the wilder evidence is piling up. We don't want to hear it no more. Right? This is us as a nation. This is the men now. See, we don't want to face wrong when we're wrong. As a nation, man, we don't want to face it. Listen to this. Ecclesiasticus, or the Wisdom of Sirach, chapter 44. He says, let us now sing the praises of famous men, the heroes of our nation's history. Did you hear what he called them? The heroes of our nation's history. Through whom Yahweh established his renown. Stop. It is through these mighty men that Yahweh established his own renown. He established it through you. He loved you enough to say, I'm going to make you a great nation, and you as a great nation will represent me, the great I am. He was already great anyway, and he did not have to do it that way, but he chose to use us as men. We dishonor him when we won't do what he says do. So he says, who established his own renown and revealed his majesty in each succeeding generation. Why are we still screwing it up? We are a succeeding generation as well. We have to pick up the mantle of our fathers where they left off, and we must carry on. No less. Do you hear me, Yisrael? Some held sway over kingdoms. Anybody here ruling a kingdom? Let me look around. Let the record reflect, nobody in the room said that they're ruling the kingdom. Okay. And made names for themselves by their exploits. Others were sage counselors. Any sage counselors in the room? One. Y'all looking at me. Any sage counselors in the room? Don't point at me. I ain't counting. I'm the servant. All right, let's go. Others were sage counselors who spoke out with prophetic power. Some led the people by their counsels. Any counselors in the room? And by their knowledge of the nation's laws. Out of their fund of wisdom, they gave instruction. Anybody here able to give instruction? Out of the fund of your wisdom that God's granted you. Some were composers of music and writers of poetry. Any poetry writers today? Any singers of music today? Do we have any of that? Come on, Yisrael. Others were endued with wealth and strength. Do we have any of that today? Living peacefully in their homes. This is in the book, Israel. All these won fame in their own generations. Why can't we do it in our generation? Y'all listening to me? All these men of Israel, they won, listen to what he said, they won fame in their own generation and were the pride of their times. Oh, now you tell me that ain't beautiful. These men were so wise, they were so powerful, they were so righteous, they were the pride of their generation. You hear what I'm saying? Sometimes people have get-togethers, little thing. I'm not talking about no party, hardy, all this. I'm just saying sometimes people have little generation, little get-together where they honor your presence, they request your presence. And you just happen to show up. I'm talking as a man of Yahweh. And then it's an honor for them to have you in their midst. Just because of the way you live. Even if they can't acknowledge it. Just because of the way you live. They feel like it's an honor to have you in their presence. You hear how we should be living, men? Some there are who have left a name behind them to be commemorated in story. Look at how wise Yisrael is as a nation. They say the men's names in every generation, whether they believe them or not. They mention Abraham. They talk about Moshe. These are men now that didn't have to, like the young men today. They all want to get a great name for themselves. And ain't done nothing. You ain't even swept up your grandmama's basement. You ate up her bacon, though. You drunk the last of the liquor, though. You rolled up that blunt. You kept smoking on that and want to be known. We are out of our damn minds. Notice my careful use of the word damn. Because that's what it'll get us. It'll get us condemned before Abba Yahweh. We keep thinking the way that we're thinking. Y'all all right? Come on. Y'all want some more of this? There are others who were unremembered. Oh, now check this out. There are others who were unremembered. They are dead And it is as though they had never existed, as though they had never been born or left children to succeed them. Not so of our forefathers. They were men of loyalty. Ha! You hear that? Men of loyalty. Loyal to who? Loyal to who? Let me say it another way. Loyal to who else? Okay, Yahshua, Yisrael. Loyal to who else? Themselves. Anybody else? Elders? Righteous people? I can go on now. This is the nation, period. It says that they were loyal. They were men of loyalty, whose good deeds have never been forgotten. Loyal to who else? You're loyal to yourselves. You're loyal to your wives. You're loyal to your sons. You're loyal to your daughters. You are people that are trustworthy. Come on, man. Check this out. No. Just hold the point. Here's the point. Hold this point. Say Abraham. Say it. A black father of many nations. Now that's what the name means. Ham in Hebrew, H-A-M, Ham, it means black. Abram means father of many. Yahweh said you should no longer be called Abram, but Abraham. Pay attention, because I want y'all to hear what the man says about him, okay? But before that, I'm going to ask a question. Here's my question. What is America's fascination with Abraham Lincoln and his so-called relationship with black people? Are y'all picking up the point here? If y'all ain't getting it, I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to let it float. It'll hit you about 5:30, and you're going to be wherever you're going. You'll say, yeah! I'll wait. It's going to hit you like smoke flavor over a beef brisket. You go, you know, Al John was on to something today. He was kind of on fire today. Their prosperity is handed on to their descendants. Did you all hear that? Their prosperity is handed on to their generations. You are obligated to do what your fathers did. If you are real Yisrael, you are obligated to do what your fathers did because it's handed on to you. You listening? And their inheritance to future generations. Isn't that wonderful? Thanks to them, amen. Thanks to them, their children are within the covenants. Isn't that something? You are within the covenant because your fathers were called by Abba Yahweh. The world didn't know Yahweh. He says, I'm going to get me some renown, some fame, because I'm going to create a nation that's going to obey me. They're going to be a nation of screw-ups like all the other nations, but within them and in every of their generation, people are going to pop up. They're going to be totally different. People that are far superior to all the other nations because they're going to obey me. They know me. Y'all listening? Come on. See, this is one of them scenarios where you are, I don't want to use this word, but I'm going to use this word for lack of a better term at this time. This is a scenario where you are proud to be who you are because you realize you have a profound level of responsibility upon you. I'm not talking arrogant pride now. I'm talking, I'm Abraham's seed. Abraham met with Yahweh and loved Yahweh so much, he promised to obey Yahweh, and Yahweh put a different ruach upon him so that now, spiritually, socially, genetically, historically, and futuristically, all that man's seed would come up and would obey. That's serious. That's a serious responsibility. You ain't heard none of the fake kings and queens of Europe and none of the other nations renounce their throne. Hey, this ain't coming to America. I renounce my throne, then I give it all up. So what you gonna do? Oh, give me that one-room apartment over there. No, not that. The one with the rats and the roaches. Remember that? This ain't that. You can't disconnect yourself from it. But yet we disconnect ourselves every day because we say, I'm not keeping that. I ain't doing that. I already know. If you already know, then you know what you want to. This is so profound. You ain't gonna want to do nothing but this. And you won't be a religious zealot or a fanatic. You have the right to live your life. You hear what I'm saying? Our people, they don't notice that. They want to be seen. That's why they want to dress a certain way. They want everybody to recognize them as Israelite. I don't care if you recognize me or not. I was in the store. I said the little Asian man just reached right past me as if I wasn't even there. And then as soon as I moved, and I moved in a way where my body language told that, all right, man, come on, man. So I moved. Let him get what he get. Then he says, excuse me. You could have said that all along. See, to say excuse me, think about the word. Excuse me. It's humility. But if you're arrogant, then you don't feel like you need to be excused. Your thing is, get out of my way. I doth be better than thee. So that's why people see in the store you standing there and they trying to get past you. They'll stop and wait. Then when you turn around and look, now before long, unconsciously you say, oh, excuse me, and you get out of the way. And then they just, that arrogant pride. Pay attention to life, y'all. You don't be caught walking around here sleeping. Pay attention. These are spiritual conditions. How do you think you honestly standing there unconsciously not paying attention, and then it dawned on you, somebody's behind, and you move? Because you felt the presence of that arrogant, commanding spirit. Get out of my way. And you feel it. Just bringing something to your attention. I'm telling you all what I know. Somebody said they seen it. So he says, thanks to them, their children are within the covenants. The whole race of their descendants. Their line will endure. Listen to this. Their line will endure for all time. And their fame will never be blotted out. Their bodies are buried in peace, but their name lives forever. Isn't that beautiful? Nations will recount their wisdom. The nations recount your wisdom every day. They print the Bible. They print it out. We don't even use the word here. You never hear me use the word, the Bible. This is not a Greek binding together of books. It is the Torah of Almighty Yahweh. He gave it to us because we teach, we direct, we guide. We are instructed because that's what Almighty Yahweh did for us. He said the nations will recount their wisdom and Yahweh's people will sing their praises. And then how we sing that? Praise the name of Yahweh. I will praise the name of Yahweh with my hands and my voice. I will sing and rejoice. Praise the name of Yahweh. Y'all sound a little rough on that, but I'm going to take that. It's all right. See, the more we come to love Abba Yahweh, the more you harmonize them notes. You get that thing together, man. We miss that. So that his people will sing their praises. Hanak, please, Yahweh, and was carried off to heaven. An example of repentance to future generations. That man was an example for us. We got to pay attention to that. Noah was found perfect and righteous, and thus he made amends in the time of retribution. Trouble and judgment was coming. That man made amends for all of humanity. But listen to this. Great Abraham was the father of many nations. Wait a minute. What we say that name meant? Let them look it up. I threw it out there. Let them go look it up. I dare. Get on the channel and tell me, Elder Johnson, you lied. You're wrong. I dare you do it. Great Abraham was a father of many nations. No one has ever been found to equal him in fame. Yahweh did that. You hear that? So much so that the man of another nation, they tried to equate that type of authority with him because he freed you and I. And you still don't get the connection. That's one for the Moors. We'll throw that out there for the Moors. He kept the Torah of the Most High. He entered into covenant with him. Listen to this. He entered into covenant with him, setting upon his body the mark of the covenant. Not mark of the beast. He set upon his body the mark of the covenant. Men, I'm going to tell y'all what that is, do I ain't going to look up in case y'all saying, yeah, I ain't going to look up. We'll talk about it later. And when he was tested, he proved faithful. I rest my case. He was tested and he proved faithful. How was he tested? He was tested through his son. And he proved faithful. Can we prove faithful today? See, I keep on saying it. We have to have some respect for the elders who truly know the way. Because the elders who truly know the way, one thing they ain't going to do, they ain't going to impose their will on nobody. They're going to follow the will of Abba Yahweh. I like the way the Apostle Shaul broke down his argument in discussing himself as a humble comparative analysis to the other apostles. Now, I want you to hear what he says, because see, people miss this. A lot of us as Hebrews, you hear the Hebrews, they don't like the Apostle Shaul. I don't know why you despise your brother. We got to be careful with that. We take one man over another. No, don't get caught. Excuse this expression, but I need to express it roughly so that you get the dynamic of what we do. But don't get caught pissing on one Israelite over another Israelite. Don't do it. Listen to what the Apostle Shaul says, okay? This is 2 Corinthians 12:1. He says, "It is not expedient for me, doubtless, to glory. I will come to visions and revelations of Yahweh." So he says, ain't nothing for me to glory in. "I knew a man in the Messiah above 14 years ago. Whether in the body, I cannot tell, or whether out of the body, I cannot tell." Yahweh knows. In other words, I don't know if this was a dream or if I really went through this. He says, I don't know, but Yahweh knows. You hear what he's telling? Now he's telling a story now. He says, "Such an one caught up to the third heaven," third Shemayim. "And I knew such a man." Now I like the way he's telling the story because see, if people don't read it and they don't understand, they don't know who he's talking about. You ever hear a person confess something? So, well, there was a little child trying to tell you that they broke something in the house. Well, there was this thing, and it was on the dresser, and it fell. And you're like, "What fell?" The glass thing, and it upstairs, and it fell, and it broke, and some water got on me. Wait a minute. What fell? What broke? And how'd you get wet? Well, and I was in the room, and the thing fell, and when it broke, the water splashed. Now he's telling something without telling who experienced this. Y'all listening? It says he was caught up unto paradise and heard unspeakable words which it is not lawful for a man to utter. So now he heard a Kodesh language that he could not now come back and tell you what he heard, but yet he knew that what he heard because it was within him. Oh, did I just give it away? Yeah, I think I did. Anyway. He says, "Of such an one will I glory. Yet of myself will I not glory, but in mine infirmities. For though I would desire to glory, I shall not be a fool." No, he let him know, look, man, I ain't coming with the Louis Farrakhan thing. I ain't coming with the Al Sharpton thing with the perm in my hair and all that. He said, I'm coming as I come. I ain't going to glory in me. Listen to how he tells this. "For though I would desire to glory, I should not be a fool, but I will say truth. But now I forbear, lest any man should think of me above that which he seeth me to be, or that he heareth of me." That's why if you notice, I don't let people pedestalize me and pump me up and, "Oh, you great man." Yes, stop it. I'm a man of Abba Yahweh just like you. I don't let people bow before me. No, I don't like that. I don't like people try to make me be some great grand leader. I'm a poor little man of Abba Yahweh. I have nothing but Yahshua, and in that I am rich. So too are you. I say that to all of us. That's where we glory. Does that not what Yahweh tell us to do? Jeremiah 9:23, he says, "Let not the wise man glory in his wisdom." Okay, how smart you think you are? Don't glory in that. "Let not the rich man glory in his riches." I don't care how much money you got. Don't glory in that. "Let not the mighty man glory in his strength." Don't do it. But he opens the door unto all. He says, "But let him that glory in this, that he knoweth and understandeth me." And most people don't know Yahweh. I don't care what they say. Most people don't know Yahweh. You know why? Because to open up to one another, it leaves both parties vulnerable to one another. And Yahweh opened up his heart unto the children of Yisrael and left himself vulnerable because we broke his heart. Come on, man. We think we know Yahweh. Yahweh opened himself up to Israel. He reveals himself unto Israel. He reveals us through his word, who he is. And then he gave his only begotten son. I bet you wouldn't give up yours. You can have 10 or 12 sons, all of them bad as hell. You wouldn't sacrifice a single one if you had to save the nation. Tell the truth. You can have 10, 12 sons right now, and Yahweh said, pick one of them for me. I want him to die so that everybody else can live. Why mine? Here come one coming. Dad, I just wrecked the car. Oh, it's okay. I should get rid of you. But no. You'd be right back at it. You wouldn't give him up. He left himself vulnerable to his nation. And today we run our mouth, get out on the corners, wrap all up in towels and curse people out, talk all tough to people. All that. Poor brother online says, see, that's what make it bad for all of us new coming Israelites. These old brothers out arguing, cursing everybody out, talking trash and all. They make it so difficult. And I pray that Abba Yahweh let me never step out there in the realm and do nothing silly like that. Because to convert the children of Israel, they need nothing but the pure, raw, unadulterated truth. They don't need to be beat to smithereens because we want to be leaders and we can't even lead the house. If a man know not how to take care of the house of Yahweh, if he can't take care of his own house, how can he take care of the house of Yahweh? That's what the book says. And you can't rule your house with no iron fist now. You can't do that now. Come on, man. Yah is merciful. He is compassionate unto us as his people, but we just keep right on going. Let's get into this. This apostle says something profound here. And he says, unless thou should be exalted above measure through the abundance of revelation. See, that's how a lot of people, because they got revelation, they smart, they study, they think themselves to be wise, right? It says, unless thou should be exalted above the abundance of revelation that were given unto me a thorn in the flesh, that is a messenger of Shaitan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure. So now he had some sort of physicality that afflicted him, that kept him humble, okay? Something that afflicted him, that kept him humble, and he sought this thing that of Yahweh 3 times that it might depart from him. And he said unto me, my Hasid, Yahweh's unmerited favor, Hasid. We're not going to deal with grace. Grace is Egyptian gods. 3 gods, and their little sexual impurities and all that other stupid stuff. Go look up grace and just trace it back. You'll learn, no, we ain't gonna ever use that word again. So when you see grace, you say Hasid. C-H-E-S-E-D. Hasid. Sound like you may spit. Hasid. It means Yahweh's unmerited favor, meaning I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. That's what it means. He says, okay, you keep doing wrong, I'm going to whoop you, I'm going to chastise, but I love you. That's Yahweh's unmerited favor. So he says, my Hasid is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. A lot of times we cannot even be perfected in Yahweh because in our weakness we think we're already strong. That's what we do as a people. But having respect for the elders who truly know the way, we don't even sit and listen to them now. We don't listen to the elders. We do what we choose to do. And tell me I'm lying. Let's go get it. Let's go to the book of the Lamentations. Let's go back there. The Lamentations. Notice the crying of Jeremiah. You know, you done sure enough hurt a man when you make a man cry. Ain't that how it go? I ain't just talking now some old sissified man just around crying just for the sake of crying, just sniffing. So, man, what's the matter now? Nothing. Lifetime channel. No, we ain't talking like that. We're talking somebody that's paying for the nation and what they see. Jeremiah, the Lamentations 5:7. Listen to what he says here now. You tell me this ain't profound. Our necks are under persecution. We labor and have no rest. Sounds like us. We've given hand to the Egyptian, to the Assyrian, to be satisfied with bread. Our fathers have sinned and are not. And we have borne their iniquity. Now tell me that ain't what we're going through right now. And you got some of us, the revisionists of history. Now we getting bad as the European now. Every nation, wherever he went, he slaughtered the people and took over the land and their identity. Everywhere he went, he did that. Well, now we're turning like that in the latter days. Now we were never brought in captivity into. We're the Native Americans. We were here all along. That's the new trend now. Everybody, now we're all that. So now the news coming out. I said, well, wait a minute now. Did you know that some of the Native Americans, Seminoles and others, they had slaves? They had African folks in captivity here as slaves. All that. Now some of them, that's not true. Oh, now you rewriting the story. Now let's go with that edition too. Put it all on the table. No, we don't want that. Anyway, listen to the book. Servants have ruled over us. I believe that one. Servants have ruled over us. There is none that doth deliver us out of their hand. Abraham Lincoln did not do it. Okay, don't waste time saying, yeah, Lincoln freed the slave. Mighty funny, they put something in the Constitution called the 13th Amendment. The 13th. We probably did it on a Friday. Anyway, it says slavery should not exist except, listen to the word, except as a form of punishment for having been convicted of a crime. And then suddenly, after you put the 13th Amendment in place, suddenly you got these new laws on the books where all these same group of people that just come out of slavery, now all of a sudden they become the victims of all this stuff. So then you keep putting them in prison, in chains, and they sit up in there and not realize, I'm a slave. Something funny going on. Yeah, anyway, I don't want to wake nobody up. Just want to make a point. We got our bread at the peril of our lives because the sword of the wilderness. Here's a good one. Duck this verse. Our skin was black like an oven because of the terrible famine. Now I'm going to hang that out there like a coat on a hanger. Like the only coat on the coat rack. I'm just going to hang that out there. Our skin was black like an oven. They ravished the women in Zion and the maids in the cities of Yehuda. Is that not what they did? Princes are hanged up by their hands. The faces of the elders were not honored. What am I talking about today? How they do not honor the elders who truly know the way. It's difficult to find old men today that know the way. And if it's difficult to find old men that know the way, then trust me, it's going to be doubly different to find young men that know the way, because the wisdom and knowledge of the Torah of Almighty Yahweh don't just pop in your head, man. Don't pop in your head, okay? If that's the case, the job skills will pop in your head. You hear me? Fatherhood would pop in your head. Motherhood would pop in your head. Cleanliness would pop in your head. This stuff has to be taught. Y'all told them, teach your sons and your sons' sons. Keep this thing perpetual generation, right? We don't believe that today. We just keep on going. Let's go back. I got a little bit of time. I'm going to break this down. You all need to hear this. Let's go to the Lamentations chapter 4. Now I want to get into Yahweh's parts of speech here because he chooses his words carefully. One thing about Abba Yahweh, he don't have to come back and say, oh, I ain't mean that. He says what he means, and he means what he says. Now, y'all read this with me. You stop me when I'm wrong. The Lamentations, chapter 4, I'm going to start right around the 11th verse. Listen to this. Yahweh hath accomplished his fury. Semicolon. You see that? Dot and a comma. A semicolon, right? Yahweh hath accomplished his fury. Semicolons connect to another sentence. Am I correct? Yahweh hath accomplished his fury. He hath poured out his fierce anger. He hath kindled a fire in Zion, and it hath devoured the foundations thereof. Now, you see who did this? Since Yisrael transgressed, Yahweh tore up the whole city. I'm going to get rid of everyone. I'm going to evict you. Now, let's use a word today to bring this to light. Gentrification. How about that? Yahweh gentrified his own city. I'll move you hoodlums out. Since you won't do right, get up, get out. I'm going to let the hoodlums come back. I'm going to get you hoodlums out, put some new hoodlums in. Now, they're going to come in, and they're going to suffer from amnesia, and then they're going to stand there and say, hey, we're the ones. Hey, you're not. That's why you ain't here no more. You get my point? Now, there are some that will say, well, that's racist. I ain't racing nowhere. I'm taking my time. The kings of the earth and all the inhabitants of the world would not have believed that the adversary and the enemy should have entered into the gates of Jerusalem. For the sins of her prophets, comma, and the iniquity of her priests, comma, that have shed the blood of the just in the midst of her. See how we did it? See where the problem came into play? The priests, the prophets, they screwed up. This is why, let's be honest, it's difficult for people to honor the elders who truly know the way, because you got so many that went wrong that after a while, wrongdoing became the way of life. So when somebody stood up to teach us right and stood firm against any of our wrongdoing, not a little bit, but stood firm against any and all of our wrongdoing, they don't like them no more. I don't want to be bothered with him. I don't like him. I ain't going back. Wait a minute. Let's catch Israel saying it. Okay? Let's catch Israel. Let's look at the sentence structure here. 14. They have wandered as blind men in the streets. In other words, they can't see. They don't know. They're not looking at this spiritually. They have polluted themselves with blood so that men could not touch their garments. He's talking about the priesthood, putting hits on one another. Kill this one, kill that. Is that not what they did to Jeremiah the prophet? Is that not what they did to Yeshaya the prophet? Come on, they had the men of Yahweh murdered because falsehood and lies were the order of the day. We cannot have that and be the people of Abba Yahweh. Can't do it. They cried unto them, depart ye. This is what the priest said. Get out. It is unclean. Depart, depart. Touch not. Stop. That's a colon there. The priest was putting the people out. Tell them, get out. Depart. Go away. You're unclean. They killers now. They murderers. They rebelling. They putting the people out. But that's a colon after that. When they fled away and wandered, they said among the heathen, they shall no more sojourn there. You see what the priest did? Put the people out, got rid of the people, said, don't you ever come back. Get away from here. They put the people away that called out their sins. They made them. Look at the verse. He gives the answer. Notice, they cried unto them, depart. Depart ye, it is unclean. Depart, depart, touch not. When they fled away and wandered, they said among the heathen, they should no more sojourn there. That's why people don't want to come to the houses of Yahweh today. Because they look at the priesthood, they say, oh, he ain't right. Oh, this one ain't right. That one, no, you strive to do right. They'll know when you're right. Because if your teaching and your speech pattern matches that of the prophets of the book, people will know that man there ain't playing. He's keeping the book. Yeshaya chapter 8, verse 20. Write it down. I'm not even going to look at it. It says plainly, to the law and to the testimony. If they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. Any man that ain't going to speak according to this book, he don't have Yahshua in him. Yahshua is the light of the world. He is the Or. Look at the word. Even in English, Aura. What does it mean? It's a light. It's something around someone, right? So now he is the Or. He is the light of the world. And if they ain't speaking and their words don't match up with that, that's what a lot of times people looking for. They're looking for a spirit like that. That's what Elder Johnson used to say. John said, well, everything that coming in Assembly of Yahweh don't come in for salvation. He said, some people coming in to receive a testimony against their soul. People come and people go. As Deacon said last evening, and we need to understand it. Don't be frightened by the small numbers in the assemblies of Yahweh. That's all y'all's dealing with. He's dealing with a remnant. But there's a big number in the world. About 7.5 billion people on the planet. That's a lot of people. If you just take the 0.5, that's a lot of people. How many out of that's going to make it? He ain't choosing all the world. Come on now. We're not reading the book. Y'all all right? Let's go on. I want you to hear this. The anger of Yahweh have divided them. This is why the priesthood can't see eye to eye today. Look, the anger of Yahweh have divided them. Colon. Colon, right? What was that? A semicolon. Semicolon? Let me look. Put these things back on. They work. That's a semicolon. Y'all book semicolon. Somebody look at it. What y'all got? Oh, yours has a period. And yours is a period. That's interesting. Okay, that one has a period. Okay, all right, that's interesting. Let's get this here. Period means end of sentence, right? Okay. Colon means something's coming. The answer's coming. Semicolon connects the sentence to now. Let's look at the context of this. Let's figure out which it is. The anger of Yahweh have divided them. Period. He will no more regard them. What's there now? Mama has a semicolon. Some got a period. See why it is imperative to look at the word of Yahweh closely. See how we got you see what the translators have done? Mine is a colon. Okay. All right. We're going to just go with what we got. Let's see. He will no more regard them. They respected not the persons of the priests. They favored not the elders. Now that was the whole city. Let's look at the context of Israel's history. Let's see if we can solve the mystery of this verse ourselves. Let's look back. The anger of Yahweh has divided them. Okay. Them who? The priesthood. They're against each other. He will no more regard them. Okay, they can't get a prayer through. They can't get a revelation. They don't understand the depth of what they think they do, but yet the nation is in trouble. He says he will no more regard them. Okay. Then he says, they respected not the person of the priest. They favored not the elders. So then whoever did this, or whatever it was that they did, the elders, the men that held fast to the truth, were no longer respected. Either way, whoever did it, look what Yahweh did to the nation. You see why we're in such deep trouble now, Yisrael? Let's go further. As for us, comma, y'all got a comma? Our eyes as yet failed for our vain help. What's there? Everybody got a colon. Vain help, huh? Colon means the answer. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us. Why are you still voting? They can't save you. Think about it. Why are you still participating? They can't save you. They cannot even save themselves, and yet they print the book. They cannot save themselves. We play with Yahweh too much. We think we know. We say we know, but yet we don't. So today, as a result now, we're paying for all these transgressions. We bemoan the fact. In fact, let's do this. Let's go back to the book of Job, chapter. Let's go to the Job 29. I'm going to show you something. Because, see, as a result of these sins today now, we're paying for all this stuff. In fact, the lowest class of people look down upon us. When you go back in the book of Job, you find Job there bemoaning this fact. But was it because of his own sins, his faults, his failures, and shortcomings? No, it was not, my dear friend. We got to go back to the Testament of Job and read up on what happened. Because he decided to stand for Yahweh's word. He saw the house of Shaitan and all the wickedness of that culture, and he tore it down. Abba Yahweh told him, you do that, you prepare yourself for an ordeal, because Shaitan will come after you. You tell most people that, people going to back right down. Well, maybe I better not bother it then. Let's just be honest. That's how a lot of people think. Well, maybe I better not say nothing. See, that's where our confrontation came in around here. I let the young brothers know, you ain't hold no crap game out here. You hold a crap game out here, it's going to turn into a war. You have to let people know we're going to stand for Yahweh's truth. Most people are afraid to stand for truth today. And sadly enough, the scripture says that they were men, they were loyal. More often than not, we won't stick together and cover the house of Abba Yahweh. Come on, man. Listen to this. This is the book of Job, chapter 29. Listen to this. Moreover, Job continued his parable and said, oh, that I were as in months past, as in the days when Yahweh preserved me, when his candle shined upon my head, and when by his light I walked through darkness. Look at that. As I was in the days of my youth, when the secret of Yahweh was upon my tabernacle. What is the secret of Yahweh? Look at that. The secret of Yahweh is being in his very presence. That's the secret of Yahweh. That's why your numbers are always small when you're after the truth. It's not great numbers. The house ain't going to be packed. Listen, can I be honest with y'all? Don't get offended, but let me just be honest. There are some Shabbats where the house is packed. And when the house is packed, I get scared. I ain't gonna lie. I come out and look around. Ain't a seat left. I get scared. Because see, when everybody flocking to you and everybody listening to you and everybody want to hear, you ain't doing something right. You ain't going to tell me the house going to be packed and everybody obeying Yahweh. The ark wasn't packed. 8 people went in that. Had more animals than you did people. Now that ought to tell you something. Think about that. That's a crying shame. Next time you see a dog and a deer and a bear and a cat and all that stuff, have a little humility and look and think back. Say, man, y'all was smarter than we were. Y'all obeyed. Now, I'm just being honest. You think that, hey, you know what, though, even now on that particular point, let's be honest. Remember when the tsunami hit, where was that tsunami hit a few years back? What? Indonesia? Remember when the tsunami hit? What was the first thing that the folks said should have clued them in? They said they ain't paid no attention. They said all animals got them left. Then there's some all animals got, hey, man, hey. You notice the tide going out? Hey, come on, man. Go get the babies. Let's go. Wasn't no run back. Get the flat screen. Get this. Get the phone. Get the charger. They all got up and left. They left. They went to higher ground. Man. That's what man did. He partied. Till the water came. Swoop. Swept him up there. The animals up here. The water came. Swept man right there. Just before he took his last breath, look, he saw all the animals up there on high ground. He went on back out. It was it. We don't pay attention. So he says, as in the days of youth, when the secret of Yahweh was upon my tabernacle. You read Psalm 91:1. He gives the definition of Yahweh's secret. He says, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Anything cast a shadow, guess what? You got to be somewhere right under that thing. Put your hand over your book. See if your book don't cast a shadow. See if your hand don't cast a shadow. But now if you think about it, your hand right there over that book. So come on. People think they know Yahweh. They don't know him. If they knew him, they'd be clamoring to get closer to him. When the Almighty was yet with me, when my children were about me, when I washed my steps with butter. Now, you know, that's a man. This is a figure of speech. He didn't wash his feet with butter. Come on. Ain't none of that. Okay. Ain't none of that. He mean I was very careful with everything that I did. When I went out to the gate through the city, when I prepared my seat in the street, the young men saw me and hid themselves, and the aged rose and stood up. Does Yahweh not tell us in Leviticus 19:30, I believe it is, you shall rise up before the hoary head. You stand up, old man walking around. Get up and on. Today, they don't pay you no mind. So then when the old men teach the truth, they think that they teaching something false or it ain't true. Really? So he says, the princes refrained from talking and laid their hand on their mouth. You know, that's a serious man. You got the nobles in the town and they see you come. They stop talking just to look. Come on, man. The nobles held their peace and their tongue cleaved to the roof of their mouth. When the ear heard me, then it blessed me. And when the eye saw me, it gave witness to me. They wasn't rolling their eyes at this righteous man when he walked by. When they looked at him, they smiled. They honored him. Come on, man. Because I delivered the poor that cried, and the fatherless, and him that had none to help him. That's a man. He look at everybody that's beneath him, that were poor, that were hungry, that were ragged. Come on, man. That's a man of Yahweh there. He says, the blessing of him that was ready to perish came upon me. How did the blessing come upon him if he was getting ready to perish? He was hungry and starving and had nothing. How did the blessing of him come upon him? Because you blessed him, Yahweh blessed you. That's what the book said. The book says, he that lendeth to the poor lendeth to Yahweh, and he will repay him. Come on, man. Come on, man. We don't know, man. We don't know. He said, the blessing of him that was ready to perish came upon me, and I caused the widow's heart to sing for joy. I put on righteousness, and it clothed me. My judgment was as a robe and a diadem. That's the way we have to be. You are royalty, Yisrael. Royalty ain't no trash. Royalty ain't no wickedness. Royalty conducts itself according to the rules. Now, Ephesians 6:14, I think it is, tells us to put on the whole armor of Yahweh and the breastplate of righteousness. Come on, it's like having on bulletproof vest. Some out there with a little 22, ping, 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 ping. It's popping off. They wonder what's happening. He says, put on the breastplate of righteousness. We as the people of Yahweh today, we don't want to hear things like this because we think we already got it. No, you got to address even the children of Yisrael. Everybody don't know. You can't tell me that. You can't tell me everybody knows now. I watch a young brother. I love the brother dearly. I watch him put a little online thing together, and he does that. Torah. He teaches. He lays things out. He goes in the book. He does it. He's a very meek man. He doesn't quite know and understand the depth of all of the sacredness of the name of Yahweh. So he's in and out. But he puts that stuff out there online, and he goes, and people, they come on while he's teaching, and they'll correct him, and he'll look at things they say, and He correct them. He was in talking about the new moon and some other things, and they correct him. And I pray for him. I see him trying to teach. He's doing the best he can. And I pray for him. I ask that y'all be with him. It's like I would hope and pray that you all pray to be with me. But one thing now, I'll tell you this. One thing, I ain't gonna have nobody correcting me while I'm preaching and teaching it. You ain't gonna do that. You can go online and type and say whatever it is you want to say. If I look at it and I see them comments and I realize you in error, then you're gonna get a response from me. Because see, Yah say he called them old men because they know the way. And see, the people today, they too busy trying to correct them when they say something. All they do, they looking like the scripture says, they're looking to make a man an offender for a word. All you can do is say one word. Come on, man. That's what the woman did to me. She's going to tell me about the moon and the feast day and the lunar Shabbat and all that. I'll take you back in the book and I'll show you where Abba Yahweh established the moon. He said that by the moon, the feast days of Abba Yahweh appointed. You be able to know and count that moon. You should be able to look at all that stuff so that you teach the children of Israel. You don't teach them and they teach you as you're teaching them. No, you cut that nonsense short. They didn't do it to Moshe and they can't do it to any man of Yahweh to this day. That's our problem as a nation. We want to tell the messengers what to do. You don't go in there and tell the water department what to do. You don't say nothing to them when they've robbed the hell out of you. You don't say nothing to the IRS. You thinking you're going to get a big refund this year and that year. Well, no. You did this, you did that. We're keeping that money. Oh, man. That's all we say and keep it moving. You go down the street, you know good and well you were doing the speed limit. The camera set up, it's a trap. Click up. Then you got a picture. You were going 30 miles an hour in a 30-mile zone. They got a ticket for, and the thing say, 45. When you know you don't say nothing. You writing that check, send it in the mail. Why would you correct the messengers of Yahweh? See, that's where we get in error as a nation. Everybody knows in this era of time. See, we forget that when they were coming together in the formative years of the nation, everybody didn't have the Torah. The priest that had the Torah, and that thing had to be copied out meticulously, line per line, in every aspect of it. Everybody didn't have it. So when they came to hear the messengers of Yahweh, you were responsible for your own hearing. That's why Yahweh gave you 2 of each. Think about that. And I'm not talking about butt cheeks. He gave you 2 eyes and 2 ears. You use them. The other things you sit on, right? Now, can you imagine if he put your ears where your butt cheeks are? You wouldn't be too appreciative. Because then to hear me, you got to be like this. You all get the point. But to see me, now you got to be like this. He put them there and the symmetry of how he put them so that one can perfectly comprehend. Come on, Yisrael. We play with the Most High too much, man. We really do. We do some of the damnedest thing. We go out now, instead of getting high on the value and the beauty of life, we go out and use substances and things now that mess with our bodies and mind. Something so dangerous sometimes, you go out there and get messed up on it, never get back right. Something just mess your mind up. And you never be the same. Yeah, we had fun back in the day. We were getting high. There's no man like that today. He sound now like he permanently high. Just messed up, whatever he did. I just was looking, I'm like, wow. We are in big trouble as a nation. And we don't want to acknowledge that we're in trouble as a nation because we have transgressed the Torah of Yahweh. And as I just read in the book of the Lamentation, Abba Yahweh recounted those things. He said, yeah, when you all left, you said, I ain't going back there. I won't do this. I won't do that. We said it. Let's do this. Let me get this closing scripture. I won't even hold you any longer. I told Yah, guess what I did today, Yisrael? In a couple minutes, guess what I did? I actually completed a message today. Because, you know, I get up here, I never complete them. I say, I'll come back to do part 2. I never complete them. I actually completed this one, provided I read this last scripture. Y'all all right? Can you bear with me? Let's go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 23. See, a lot of days, you don't need a lot of scripture. You just got to expound upon the things that Abba Yahweh give unto you. A lot of times, our people, they don't know that. They don't pay attention. They just already know that. We always already know. Jeremiah 23:1. Listen to this. He says, woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, saith Yahweh. Now notice Yahweh himself said it. Don't destroy his people. He warned you, do not destroy them. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, Elohim of Yisrael, against the pastors that feed my people. Ye have scattered my flock and driven them away, and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doing, says Yahweh. You haven't paid them any attention. You have not corrected them. You have not chastised. You just drove them away. You ain't said nothing else. And I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all countries whither I have driven them. Notice, no nation can claim to be Yisrael having voluntarily traveled to all these countries in which they live. Yisrael did not voluntarily go there. They went in there and they went in captivity. You ain't going to lie about that. And, oh, yes, wait a minute now. Ain't no minute. We ain't going to entertain that for a split second. Y'all's people went into captivity because of their transgression, because of their rebellion, because of their disobedience, because they did not know Yahweh. We're like a player. Oh, guess I shouldn't say that. Yes, I should. We as a nation, we have tried to play Yahweh. He don't play him. That's our problem now. Yahweh opened his heart to Yisrael and we stomped all over it. But now the nations stomp all over it and we want mercy. And we want it tonight. Help us. Please give us free. Black lives matter. If it mattered, then keep the Torah. And that's all that matters. For I will set up shepherds over them, which shall feed them. They shall fear no more, nor be dismayed, neither shall they be lacking, saith Yahweh. Did you all hear that? I will set up shepherds over them, which shall feed them. That's how you honor the face of elders who truly know the way, because they're going to feed you with knowledge and understanding of Abba Yahweh, and they're going to do it at all costs of their lives. It make no difference to a real messenger of Yahweh. He don't care what you think of him. He don't care what you think of him. He don't care what you're planning and plotting to do to him. He's going to preach the truth, because the book says, he that loses life for my name's sake shall find it again. That man teaches in the book, and he teaches in the assurity of Yahshua. Yahshua laid down his, didn't he? He took it back up, and he said, all power in heaven and in earth is given in my hand. Now, men, let's conclude on this note. He was the second Adam. Is that how it works? And he said, all power is given in heaven and in earth in my hand. So when we go to the battle sheath, to the very beginning, he said, let us make man. Let him have dominion. He gave him authority over all things, and he messed it up. So now he sent a man to collect it back and to put that authority in its rightful place. Let us rejoice in that. I want to say to the dear daughters in Yahweh Yahshua, because we use it in the masculine context of men, it in no way diminishes the femininity of the woman. It in no way diminishes your role and the wonderful role that you play in the affairs that Abba Yahweh himself instituted. It in no way diminishes that. It just addresses the man because he made him and he put that authority in him. So that we as the people of Abba Yahweh, we're all on equal footing if we obey the way that we ought to. Let me say this in conclusion. We should want to serve Yahweh and should want to serve him with all our being, with all our soul, with all our might. We should want to do this. Nobody should have to force this upon you. We should want to do this. And I don't know about you or him or her or us or them. I know about me. I want to serve Yahweh, and I want to serve him all the days of my life, so that if my life comes to an end on this side, that I may get up and find it again, and that I may pick up where I left off, knowing that I have no less days ahead of me than when we first began. That's the time frame we should be marching for. So I told y'all for the greatness of this day, for the beauty of this Shabbat, even in the midst of the transition of the weather. This is the time of the year I always suffer. I never know how to dress for the weather this time of year. I come out the house, it's cold. I'm going to run back in and get a coat. Then by 11 o'clock, it's hot. I'm back where I was. I never know how to prepare. I always get sick somewhere around this time of year. I said, no, we're going to rebuke that condition. We ain't going to do that. We came in this morning. It was cold in here, like ice box. I saw Mr. Dawid getting ready trying to get the heat situated. I was looking at him. I'm like, hey, man, it's going to warm up. I said, well, you can break the heaters out if you want to. We'll see what happens. I don't know how y'all feel. I'm a little hot up here, but it's the 5 yards word. It should heat us all up. I told y'all for your patience, for your kindness, for all that has been done and said this precious day. We told y'all for the beauty of the sisters as they have went to prepare us in a meat offering. We told Abba Yahweh for that. We're going to stand. We're going to have prayer. We're going to go break bread together. To you that are home, the dear family that are listening, for you that have supported this ministry, the broadcast here, may the perfect blessings of Abba Yahweh rest upon you all. From time to time, I will call in and check in with you. And as well, don't you hesitate to call and check in with me. May the blessings of Yahweh rest perfectly with you all. Yisrael, let us stand to our feet. We're going to close in prayer at this precise moment. We say, Abba Yahweh, we come before you as we told you for ever so many wonderful blessings in life that we have no way to count up all the greatness of what you have done for us. But we nevertheless give you praise for all things, both far and near, both present and yet to come. We ask of you in the name of Yahshua HaMashiach that you please continue to be with us as your people. Help us to walk up before you in a manner that's perfectly pleasing and honorable in your sight. Have mercy upon us for our sins, our faults, our failures, our shortcomings. Blot out all our iniquities, Abba Yahweh, please, in Yahshua's name, and our transgressions, while helping to show us the way. Open the greatness of your Torah that we may be able to continue to learn and to love and to honor and to teach your people. Help your people wherever they are, both small and young, both old and great, both rich and poor. We ask in Yahshua's name to please be with us, Abba Yahweh, because without you we are nothing. And yet with you we know that we have our all, our being and our essence in you. So let the words of our mouths and the meditations of our heart be pleasing and acceptable in thy sight, O Yahweh, our strength and our Redeemer. This blessing we command of you, we beg of you, we plead with you in the name of Yahshua HaMashiach. Let the simply say hallelujah. We say hallelujah. Happy Shabbat unto you all, Yisrael. Shalom unto the family.